o'clock here. All right. So as soon as Glenn is ready and the rest of the council is set, I'm thinking we are going to begin our meeting. Is everybody okay?
Yes.
All right. Glenn, you want to stay standing? Very good. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise as we call tonight's meeting to order. We will begin with a short prayer and a salute to our flag. Almighty God, grant us the wisdom to make those decisions that are in the best interest of all of our residents. May the Heavenly Father of us all bless those who have given the ultimate sacrifice and service to our nation, and may He watch over and protect our servicemen and women now guarding the gates of freedom. A salute to our flag at this time. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all. You may be seated. Jessica, statement of publication, please.
Take notice that this regular meeting of the Mayor and Borough Council being held on this 22nd day of May, 2023 has been posted and advertised in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Balca.
Here.
Conti.
Here.
Novak.
Here.
Noha.
Here.
Roberts.
Here.
Zabrowski.
Here.
At this time, I'll ask for the approval of the prior minutes of the Mayor and Council President Noha, please.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. And at this moment, I'd like to take the opportunity for April 11th, April 24th, April 25th, and May 9th, prior minutes of the Mayor and Council to be approved with subject to correction if necessary.
Is there a motion?
Didn't he make the motion?
Is there a
Needs to make the
second? I
motion.
apologize. Do we also need to acknowledge the May 8th, 2023 meeting as well?
There's no quorum, yes.
Okay. With that, is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Noha.
Yes.
Balca.
Yes.
Conti.
So yes, I'm abstaining from the April 24th agenda meeting. I was not at that one.
Novak.
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we're going to move to our proclamations and presentations. I'll ask our business administrator if he would not mind reading the both of these proclamations, the 63rd Annual National Public Works Week, as well as the National EMS Week. If you're okay with that, or Councilman Conti, if you would like to read that as the Public Works Liaison, or if one of our illustrious clerks would like to read that, I'm okay with that also. I don't have it in front of me, but even if I did, I don't think I could make it through the entire proclamation.
Got the green light. Thanks, Mayor. I do have it in front of me, so I will. I'll read it.
Well, thank you.
All right, this proclamation. Whereas public works professionals focus on infrastructure, facilities, and services that are of vital importance to sustainable and resilient communities and to the public health, high quality of life, and well-being of the people of Borough of Sayreville, State of New Jersey. And whereas these infrastructure, facilities, and services could not be provided without the dedicated efforts of public works professionals who are engineers, managers, and employees at all levels of government and the private sector, who are responsible for rebuilding, improving, and protecting our nation's transportation, water supply, water treatment, and solid waste systems, public buildings, and other structures and facilities essential for our citizens. And whereas it is in the public interest for the citizens, civic leaders, and children in Borough of Sayreville, State of New Jersey, to gain knowledge of and to maintain an ongoing interest and understanding of the importance of public works and public works programs in their respective communities. And whereas the year 2023 marks the 63rd Annual National Public Works Week, sponsored by the American Public Works Association, Canadian Public Works Association, be it now, therefore, I, Vince Conti, substituting for Mayor of Borough of Sayreville, do hereby designate the week of May 21st to the 27th, 2023 as National Public Works Week. I urge all citizens to join with government agencies to pay tribute to our public works professionals, engineers, managers, and employees, and to recognize the substantial contributions they make to protecting our national health, safety, and quality of life.
I move the proclamation be approved on roll call vote. Second.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Balca. Conti,
Yes.
Noha,
Yes.
Roberts. Zabrowski.
Yes.
Okay, at this time then, I will ask that liaison for the Public Safety Committee, please read the National EMS Week's proclamation.
Thank you, Mayor. Whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, whereas the members of emergency medical service teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those who need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, firefighters, educators, administrators, emergency nurses, emergency physicians, and others, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills. And whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical service providers by designating Emergency Medical Services Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the mayor and council of the Borough of Sayreville extend their sincere gratitude to all of these heroes who continue to sacrifice for the sake of the residents of the Borough of Sayreville and the country. Be it further resolved that I, Councilwoman Donna Roberts, in place of Mayor Victoria Kilpatrick, Mayor of the Borough of Sayreville, hope I said that the right way, join the state of New Jersey and the United States of America in recognition of this event, do hereby proclaim the week of May 21st through 27th, 2023 as Emergency Medical Services Week.
It's a great pleasure of mine and an honor to make a motion to the proclamation be approved on roll call vote.
Second.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Balca,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Noha,
Yes.
Roberts.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Thank you both to our public workers. Without them, our borough just would not be what it is. And to our EMS workers, thank you all so much. Absolutely. I can see they're there. So thank you all. Much needed. Every single day, I think, is EMS week. So you're not forgotten by this borough for sure. With that, we do have need for executive session. Typically, I would hold until later in our meeting, but I believe that these two items should not take very long. Is that correct?
What is it?
We have two reasons. Go ahead, counsel.
Yeah, this is to concern some active litigation that we'd like to address in closed session. We don't expect any formal action necessarily to be taken when we come back out.
Okay, so this should be very brief, and I would like to address this sooner rather than later. So
To the second meeting. Sure.
so can we have that resolution read so we can very briefly go into exec session?
How long?
10, 15 minutes max.
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances, and whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore be resolved by the Mayor and Borough Council of the Borough of Sayreville, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey as follows. The public portion of this meeting is hereby adjourned in order that the governing body may meet in closed private session for approximately 10 to 15 minutes to discuss the following matters: litigation. Following the conclusion of said closed session, the governing body shall reconvene the open portion of this public meeting to consider any other matters which may be properly brought before it at this time. The nature and content of the discussion which occurs in closed session shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
I make a motion that the resolution be approved on roll call vote.
Roll call, please.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Malka,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Enoha,
Yes.
Roberts, Zabrowski.
Okay, at this time, we're going to retreat into 310. I will call in, Nicole, would you prefer that I call into you or to Glenn?
Glenn, please, on his.
Okay,
You have your.
and then we just have to make sure Christian calls in as well. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please give us just a little bit of time in order to take care of business. I'll call Glenn once I see him inside the meeting.
Make a motion to go back into public.
Second.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? Do we have Christian back also?
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'm here.
Okay, wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for that pause, so we can take care of that business. We're going to move forward with the rest of the agenda. We have no public hearings on any ordinances. When it comes to appointments, I would like to make one appointment to the Housing Authority. Mr. Ken Kreismer, I would like to appoint to the 5-year vacant position that was previously held by Frank Bella. Frank was in that position in essence as like a holdover. So in this case, Ken Kreismer's position would, his 5-year term would start at this appointment. If there is a motion.
Mayor's designee. We have him, he's
He's on
listed
there as the mayor's designee. I'd like to move him into the 5-year appointed position that was previously held by Frank Bella.
All right.
Okay. I believe I need a motion though and a second for that.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay. All right, roll call please then.
Councilpersons Balca,
Yes.
Conti,
No.
Novak,
No.
Anoha,
Yes.
Roberts,
No.
Zabrowski.
No.
Okay, then with that, we'll move forward with new business on the introduction of following ordinances.
Ordinance number 11-23, an ordinance of the Borough of Saraville authorizing the sale of certain lands in the Borough of Saraville to be sold at a private sale in accordance with NJSA 4812-13B5.
Okay, at this point, let's see, I'll open to, this is intro. So that goes to Administration and Finance. Councilman Balca, please.
I move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing be held on June 19th, 2023.
Second.
Councilpersons Balca,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Novak,
Yes.
Noha,
Quick question. And I guess maybe we can confirm if it's going to be, discussed during the public portion, but, for the funds allocated after the potential sale, how is that, how is that necessarily allocated? Does it go directly to the borough? Does it go to other resources, maybe open space, or how does that necessarily work before voting?
Denise?
Hi, this is Denise. The funds come into the borough as miscellaneous revenue unanticipated, and then eventually it'll flow down into our fund balance.
Okay, and then, okay. So yes for now, yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Ordinance number 12-23, an ordinance of the Borough of Saraville, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, amending the Borough Code of the Borough of Saraville so as to amend Chapter 4 entitled Police Department.
My apologies, I was on mute. That's going to go to Public Safety Committee. Councilwoman Roberts, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing to be held on June 19th.
Second.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Councilperson Roberts.
Yes.
Balca,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Novak,
Yes.
Anoha,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
All right, with that, now we're going to move to the public portion on resolutions. I'll open to the public for any and all comments regarding the consent agenda resolutions at this time. Please raise your hand and come forward or step to the podium. I see none online, Nicole. And I do see someone stepping to the mic. Hello, please state your name and address for the record. This is on consent agenda items only, though.
Valentine Tar. And I'm up here because I'm looking at the agenda here. There's okay, Valentine Tar, 27 Yorkshire Place. I'm looking on your agenda here and there's no portion for the appointments. And my committee that I've been on for the rent leveling board I've been attending meetings all year long. And I just recently found out that I'm not on the committee and I wasn't appointed. And it comes, there's no place here on the agenda where you just did an appointment, and we're going to be with one more person retiring. So the committee is not going to be having a quorum. And so I want to know what happened with this appointment and why it's not put on the agenda.
Actually, appointments are on the agenda under old business, letter B. So that's where appointments are made.
We just did old business and you only had one appointment. And
That's correct.
And why wasn't mine addressed? You and I talked about this, Mayor, and we had a lengthy conversation over a half hour, and then now there's nothing here on the agenda, and I want to know why. I mean,
yeah,
what's the reason? I mean, you said there's no personal reason. We've been friends for many years, and like I said, in the committee, the chairperson also stepped forward. He says he didn't understand why it's happened, and it's putting a burden on the thing, because now we're going to be many situations where we're not going to have a quorum and you're not going to be able to pass and vote on any bills. So this is something that you have to address, and this is only one committee that I'm concerned with. I'm also on Board of Health and Open Space committees.
Okay, so with that, Val, yes, I did appreciate your phone call, and we did have a very nice conversation. I do agree. However, I do have reservations about appointing you to that particular position. It actually stems back from a couple of years ago. I was made aware and shared an email that you had sent to some elected public officials at the higher level. Some of the things that were mentioned and stated in that email were beyond concerning. I don't think that I want to bring them up right now, but I will if you like.
That's been completely resolved because it was a mistaken thing, and that's been resolved with the Senate. As I'm a sergeant at arms in the Senate, and when that was taken care of, I was when it was resolved, I was reinstated back to my position. I've been there in Trenton for over 20 years as a sergeant at arms. So that statement that was misread there has been resolved many years ago. And I'm still
want me to, well, it may have been resolved at that higher level, but if you like, for the record, I can put on for the public so that they know what was stated in that email. I don't know if you want me to do that. I'm glad that it was resolved, and the Senate and other people that you put on that email, but it was shared to me by the Speaker of the House, Mr. Craig Coughlin. I actually read it, and quite frankly, there were very, very, I mean, Val, I like you as a person, and I really don't want to have to turn around and say this out loud. Do you want me to continue? Because I think you do know what's in that email. I have a problem, while the Senate and others may have turned around and said, okay, no problem. I have a very difficult time appointing somebody to a position with some of the statements that you made.
Well, it wasn't a statement. That was an email that was a forward. That was a joke that was sent to me, and it was forward in a group session. And Senator Coughlin was, he was one of them, and Senator Vitale also. Their staff had monitors and stuff. And what happened that it was a joke that was sent to me and forwarded, and that's how this all got misconstrued. And so that's where that came down. But
what I had read and what was shared
Craig and I are close friends too, and he realized that, and he was part of why I'm back in Trenton and doing what I'm doing.
I'm grateful that's wonderful that Craig felt that way. If there were very, very biting racist statements that were made in that email, when I read it, I was in shock. I remember exactly where I was when I read it. It wasn't forwarded to me, so it was shared with me by the speaker, and I read the context of it. Clearly, they felt that that they made their actions about putting you on certain boards. I'm glad that they remedied it. I have a very hard time overlooking any racist statements. I don't find any of them to be a joke. I don't find anything about outright racist lines, racist statements, racist comments. I find nothing funny about them. And I have a hard time squaring that and putting you onto a board that deals with a lot of minority issues. So I do have reservations, and your question as to why I did not appoint you to that board, that is why.
Oh, it
Now,
was not,
somebody-
but it was not a statement that I made. I didn't make a statement. It was a forward thing that was, part of media. And, that was a bad choice on my part. But, because the people that I had sent it to, that was their thing. When it got to the two legislators that were there, their staff, took it to the point there where they did. I mean, so that has nothing to do with my, you know me for a long time, and I'm not a racist person at all. And so I just don't understand why you hold that. And that's quite a few years ago that already had happened. And
Mayor, if I may just interject for a moment, this portion of the public comment is limited to the consent agenda items. Perhaps this would be best served for the public portion at the end of the agenda. And that way it can be hashed out in greater detail if this individual of the public would like to go further. But I just wanted to note that.
Thank you. I do agree with you at this point. Val, if you want to come back up in a little bit, I just want to move forward with getting the approvals on the consent agenda, and then you can come right back up when I open to the public for any and all comments. Okay, Val?
okay, thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. Any comments regarding consent agenda resolution items only? I see none online. Is there anybody from the public? I'll ask for my eyes over there because my okay. Entertain a motion then to accept the consent agenda resolutions.
I move the consent agenda resolutions be approved on roll call vote. Oh, close the public portion and move that the resolutions be approved on roll call vote.
Second.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes, ma'am.
Delta,
Question for two. Resolution 120. It's splitting the long contract into two different contracts. Why would we go with the non-lowest bidder for both contracts?
Which number did he say?
The law.
120.
120.
I do not. That was done on the advice of our QPA. She had justification. I don't recall what it was.
And the other thing is, on the bill list, we're approving one of the bills, so they did work before getting approved. Should we approve them first and approve the bill list second?
That would be appropriate.
That would be, okay. Does it matter then or no?
No, if it's going to be passed via consent all through, then that would be just fine. You can do it under one roll call vote.
Yes.
Conti,
So I'm going to be yes on everything except I'm going to abstain on 2023-116. Working at another health insurance carrier and carries prescription. I tend to abstain from anything like that.
Anoha,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Dabrowski.
Yes.
All right, we're going to move to the resolutions to be read in full, Jessica.
Resolution 2023-147, authorizing the Cerebral Borough Tax Collector to prepare and mail estimated tax bill in accordance with Public Law 1994, Chapter 72. Whereas due to an anticipated late adoption in the New Jersey state budget, the Middlesex County Board of Taxation is unable to certify the tax rate, and the Borough of Cerebral Tax Collector may be unable to mail the township's 2023 tax bills on a timely basis. And whereas the Borough of Cerebral's tax collector, in consultation with the Borough of Cerebral Chief Financial Officer, has computed an estimated tax levy in accordance with NJSA 54:4-66.3, and they both signed a certification reflecting the various tax levies for the prior year and the range of permitted 2023 estimated tax levies as $122,853,597.74 to $135,785,555.40. Now therefore it be resolved by the Borough Council of the Borough of Cerebral as follows. The Borough of Saraville Tax Collector is hereby authorized to prepare and issue estimated tax bills for the borough for the third installment of 2023 taxes. The tax collector may proceed and take such actions as are permitted and required by Public Law 1994, Chapter 72. The entire estimated tax levy for 2023 is hereby set at $135,785,555.40. In accordance with law, the third installment of 2023 taxes shall not be subject to interest until the later of August 10th or the 25th calendar day after the date the estimated tax bills are mailed. The estimated tax bills shall contain a notice specifying the date on which interest may begin to accrue.
All right, at this time, open to the public for any comments regarding this resolution. All right, seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the public portion be closed and the resolution be approved on roll call vote.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Balca,
I'm gonna say no because we only done it like 3 times the last 35 years, so I don't see the need at this point for the extra expense to do the bills.
Conti,
Yes.
Anoha,
No.
Roberts.
So can I ask our CFO? If what Councilman Balca says is true, do we need to send out estimated tax bills and what's the benefit?
The benefit is that you're going. The benefit, if you do send out estimated, is that you'll be receiving money into the coffers and everything to pay, regular bills and all. If you don't send estimated, you'll have to extend the grace period when you do actually send out the actual tax bill.
Assuming the rate doesn't get certified in time.
The rate won't be certified in time, definitely not. Plus now what we're finding also is after I spoke to the tax collector this morning, the lag time on getting the bills prepared and all is anywhere between 6 and 8 weeks. So that alone makes it even difficult. Well, either that or we'd probably, if they did certify the rate, we'd probably have to extend instead of August 10th, just a guesstimate would be probably somewhere around the end of August 25th or so, somewhere towards that period of time, I would think. That depends on, if everything falling into place and depending on when the actual tax bill would go out.
So
Get the money faster.
you get the money faster, which means
More interest on the money that's going to sit in the bank. Right. And
the expense of sending them out is overcome by the more quickly getting funds so that we can gain on the interest for it.
well, where it would be kind of the interest income would probably negate the cost of sending the estimated bills roughly. Because obviously there is a cost in producing and printing estimated bills, because then you're going to have to do final bills also. So, I mean, some munis do it, some don't. It depends. Our cash flow is fine. We wouldn't need to do it. It just depends on, on how soon and productivity to get the bills out and get them produced.
The other side of it is not just financial, it's the people who expect the bills so that they can.
Right, exactly. You're right. And especially your mortgage companies that escrow taxes and all for the, for the mortgage properties. They like to get that, sooner than later also, so they can start accruing the additional funds they need from the, from the mortgagee.
So it's benefits and consequences either way we go, break even basically though.
Mhm.
Okay, I guess considering my own family and experience with seniors that they like to see that and have it and plan for it, I'm going to say yes. Thank you.
Dabrowski.
Yes.
Okay, resolution 2023-148, be it resolved that the borough engineer is hereby authorized and directed to prepare grant applications for the New Jersey Department of Transportation fiscal year 2024 municipal aid program, and that he be paid for said services at a fee not to exceed $2,500.
All right, I'll open to the public for any comments regarding this resolution. And I see one person. Name and address for the record, please. Ladies, I can't hear that microphone is definitely not on.
Okay, there we go. So it's Alexa Harris, 47 East Cup Street. My question is this $2,500 for the engineer services, or is the grant of $2,500?
Services.
Oh, okay, got it. Okay, that's all. Just the language was confusing. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Can I leave this on?
All right, and our final resolution.
No, we have to
Oh,
close
I'm
and
sorry. I
adopt.
have motion to close and accept the resolution.
Second.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Falca,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Anoha,
Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Resolution 2023-149, whereas on May 9th, 2023, the mayor and council of the Borough of Saraville received bids for the 2022 roadway paving and reconstruction project Phase 1. And whereas certification as to the availability of funds is annexed Tier 2, now therefore it be resolved by the mayor and council on this 22nd day of May 2023 that contracts for the 2022 roadway paving and reconstruction project Phase 1 be awarded to Z Brothers Concrete Contractors, Inc., 304 Journey Mill Road, Saraville, New Jersey, on their bid price of $516,605.01, as it appears on a copy of the bid document attached here too, and made a part hereof subject to the waiver of minor irregularities.
All right, once again, I will open to the public for any comments regarding this resolution. Seeing none online, is there anybody coming forward from the public?
No.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion then to close the public portion and accept the resolution.
Please close the public portion and accept the resolution on roll call vote.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Falca,
Yes.
Conti, Anoha,
Yes.
Roberts, Zabrowski.
Okay, at this point, we're going to move forward with correspondence. I'll need a motion to accept correspondence and file.
I move the correspondence be received and filed.
Is there a second? All right, roll call.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Falca, Conti,
Yes.
Anoha,
Sorry. Yes.
Roberts,
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Okay, with that, now we're going to move forward with our mayor and council reports, beginning with administration and finance. Councilman Balca, please.
Planning for Blue Acres property has been finalized and is awaiting DEP approval. ASME and SAM's negotiations are moving, but moving slowly. The annual audit has started. Administration is still reviewing the food truck ordinance with boat ramp, snack bar. Administration is also working on converting all borough forms to digital format. Also, the home service contract is coming up for renewal in August, and we don't realize any real revenue from the contract, so we need to give administration direction on this contract. And administration has brought up the idea of a farmer's market, and they're still in the early stages, but they're going to want our input on it. Otherwise, progress.
Thank you very much for that. We're going to move forward then with public safety. Councilman Roberts, please.
Thank you. At this point, since the Housing Authority has nomination has failed, I'd like to nominate Karen Bailey for that 5-year position. on
Second.
housing.
Councilpersons Roberts,
Yes.
Falca,
No.
Conti,
Yes.
Novak,
Yes.
Anoha,
Sorry, I'm not even fully following what Councilman Roberts mentioned. I was expecting to hear committee reports. So could you clarify a bit further so I can hear better? For who's being appointed for what?
she made a motion to appoint Karen Biebert to the Housing Authority.
Okay. No.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
And to continue with public safety, I I do apologize. I missed the police department Memorial Day memorial service earlier this week. I was away on vacation, and I understand it was a very well attended and nice service. And the police department was in new dress uniforms that they, and if I say anything wrong, Chief, you'll correct me, new dress uniforms that were paid for by seizure funds, so no taxpayer dollars, and they looked really sharp. And they also have a 100-year anniversary car on display. Is that still on display at the police department? Yes. Thank you. We also attended Patriotic Flags of Sayreville. There were 3 of us from the council there, the new flags that are put up on the parkway. I was honored to be able to go to Legislators Back to School Day, and I do want to thank the teachers that took the time to show me around. Of course, there was Mr. Howard who coordinated it, Mr. Moore and Ms. Ferrari, and all the students that participated. It was a really enlightening, and they were very charming and had very good questions. You'd be surprised how close the questions they asked at school were very similar to the ones that we get here. So that was a really great program, and I'd love to do it again. There was Mr. D's hot dog celebration. If you all remember Mr. D's hot dog, that was by the hole in the wall on Ernston Road. So went and had some fun there. And then the Historical Society, if you haven't checked them out, they have a lot of really great programs. This past weekend was the presentation on the SS Carolina, which was one of the first ship that was exploded off of the Atlantic during World War I, and it would transfer from Puerto Rico to New York. It was a really good presentation. Did anyone, I was on vacation, so Arrive Alive, the Municipal Alliance put that out, if anyone was able to attend. It's a really great program. Again, they give you the goggles so that you can see your, whether you're driving, what it's like to drive impaired. So they were doing that at the school. So there's a lot of stuff is going on. The website is looking great, by the way. So thank you for that. Permits are the only thing that we're waiting for still, as I understand, is we can't take permits because we're waiting for the state of New Jersey to determine how that goes. And so much going on. For the police department, Middlesex County College Recruitment Fair is coming up that we'll be part of and attending. The Junior Police Academy application is on social media, so that's going on again this summer. And the No Shave November, if you haven't been following, No Shave November is when the officers are permitted not to shave. They pay $50 for that, and it's going to be extended, and the funding for that is going to go to help any resident who wants to go to the community policing program. And I apologize if I say it the wrong way. I think it's the community policing program. So there's a lot of opportunities there. And I also wanted to point out, and I noticed that Alexia has left, but she had pointed out that New Jersey Transit is doing a survey for people who commute using train and bus services on how they do their local commuting. So if you could go on to New Jersey Transit and take that survey, that will help them out with that. And Gwen, would we be able to put that in our Borough Blast also? And I think some of the comments I got about our communication was the Borough Blast. A lot of people didn't get a lot of the information. We send it out to tons of people, but you have to opt in. So if you want to know what's going on, please opt in, and we'll do better at getting that information out. Alexia, I just talked about the New Jersey Transit survey for you.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
It did close yesterday,
Oh, never mind then.
though. But I think if it was,
I'm sorry. All right, so there's a lot going on. I think that covers it for now, so thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Councilwoman Roberts. We're going to move forward now with Public Works. Councilman Conti, please.
Thanks, Mayor. All right. So a few things for starters. I was at the memorial for the police. And I do want to thank the PBA, Sergeant Wilkins and Chief Klumacher for including me. It was nicely done. I was really, it was the first time I was there for that, and I really enjoyed it. It was touching with the flowers to everyone who had lost a loved one. It was nice. Happy to be there. Again, I was also at the legislators' back to school day at the high school. Yeah, you did. I heard you were there. So I did. I wanted to thank Mr. Howard. I was with Mr. Kano for 2 periods, and I was honored to be there for the day. They really enjoyed the discussion. They were highly engaged. At first they were kids being kids, talking a little bit, and then we started to get into some good topics, and they all of a sudden were all perked up about it, and talking about development, topics around town, the smoke shop, et cetera, things of that nature. And we had a really good conversation. They had asked for some things, what about this? What about that? And I had been in touch with, I didn't copy you, Donna, but I should have was in touch with the police department about a crossing guard by Kennedy Park after school, as it is they felt it was a safety concern. So we talked a little bit about that, and then perhaps volunteering a little bit through the police department, because one of the classes was street law as well. So anyway, I thought they were highly engaged and interested in the community and doing right by our town, which I was very pleased about. So I want to thank the gentleman and Principal Rubino as well. All right, and congrats Public Works for Public Works Week, and congrats National EMS Week. Thank you, folks. We really do appreciate everything that you do. I spend a lot of time thanking people because I don't always get to see them to thank them personally. So I use this time to do that a little bit. That's what I do. I want to thank Ed Grella as well from Shade Tree and Parks for cleaning up those trees and restaking them so they stood tall in Kennedy Park. I do appreciate it. I wanted to also thank Art from Shade Tree, as well as Justine Fox from Columbia Bank for donating and coordinating the memorial tree planting for Eunice. It was nice. It was nice. I was happy to be a part of that. Trees right out there in front of Borough Hall. No, over there. Sorry, it's out there. It's nice. I was touched to be there. The family was there as well. So I thought it was a pleasant day. Thank you, Art, for putting that together. Heard from a resident, which I knew about, but resident called me to say, hey, thanks for what you do in the past and for all that we do now for speeders around town. They did put up a flashing speed limit sign on Johnson's Lane, which is nice. I go by it every day, so I always see it. I try not to make it flash. You come around the turn, so it's getting me to watch my speed, which I was doing before, but at least now my goal is to leave it green. So kudos for Sergeant Braille for getting that done for us. We do appreciate that. So let's see what else. I love the fact that we are probably days or weeks away from planting of trees on MacArthur. I think that is great. 75, 76 trees going to go out there. It really is going to help that part of town, make it look nice. So I'm enthused about that. I know everybody else will be as well. All right. I love, Glenn, your updates. I love the fact that we're getting grants here and there. So Elise, I know, got one for community, clean communities. I know Chris Bardsley got a grant for $140,000 for our efforts during COVID. These things are great. So, keep up the good work, spearheading that yourself or encouraging others to do the same and get us grants, because there's grants out there to get. and we just need to get them. So those were two that I just wanted to point out. So last thing, I made a trip around town with our Director of Public Works, George Garin, and we were looking at the roads. So we had, we receive complaints about the roads on a regular basis, unfortunately. So he and we went out one day for an hour or two and just toured the town to see what looks bad, what the plans are. And I did point out to him as well, which he was a little unclear on, but we squared that away, that the budget for the roads was 5 million and not 3. So he was thinking about 3. And when I told him 5, he said, okay, let me get back to it and reassess to figure out what more we could do. So I think that we will likely see more done, probably in a way of milling and paving, as opposed to total reconstruction. But milling and paving is going to be a viable option in many scenarios, right, Jay? They don't always need reconstruction. So there's plenty of people out there who have a bad road, and we could probably get away with milling and paving. But anyway, George was going to come back and assess, and no doubt talk with CME about that, figure out what more we could do for the increased budget. And with the budget next year likely going to be the same, hopefully, we could probably get more out of that. So, so that's a good thing. So whether it's a small road or a bigger road, whatever fits in the budget, I think we'll be able to do a little bit more with our budget for the roads, which I know will make our residents happy. So I was excited to get out with him and send him back to the drawing board to find out what more we could do for roads. So happy about that. Waiting to hear what more we're going to do. So thank you, George, and thank you, Jay, for your anticipated cooperation with that as well. And that's it for me. Thank you for the time.
All right, thank you very much, Councilman Conti. Just refresh my memory. Were we at 5 million last year for the road improvement budget? I thought we were.
No, we were at
We're
3.
still only at 3 last year? Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Well, that's all right, because God, for the time that I started over 10 years ago, we were at, I don't know what, Mary, 1?
Yeah.
For 2 years prior, there was none.
None. Sad.
Yeah, and the good thing is that the county will be paving some of our roads as well. I don't know, good part of Main Street. Yeah, so obviously it's in our town, so we reap the benefits of that, but we don't pay the cost. So that's a good thing. But anyway, so we'll see some more roads paved than we have something to do with. So we're happy about that as well. So
All
thank
right.
you.
Recreation, Councilwoman Novak, please.
Was attended by over 100 people. It really went well. Fishing with Fisher was very well. They actually, I don't know, people know that the police department has fishing poles that they loan out for any child that would like to fish that doesn't have their own pole. And there were so many that wanted it, they actually ran out of poles. So everybody want to donate a little bit of money or a fishing pole for next year. So, because every year this gets better. So it was very, very good. The fun run for the Human Relations Commission was attended by over 100 people. Due to First Holy Communion in my family, I was unable to attend that, but I did get to the fishing derby for a while. Also, let me see, Memorial Day is starting at 10 o'clock on Washington Road down by Outlook, and it'll proceed to Borough Hall. Also, there's a service in front of the Fire Memorial at 8 a.m. for anybody that wants to go. And of course, our fireworks in July. It's a fun day for all. It's posted on the website, everything that's going to be happening there. I have so many notes here. The PBA Memorial, been attending that for about 30 years, and it has really grown. It used to be about 5 of us on a Saturday morning standing in front of the building, and it's quite a lovely service now for anybody that doesn't have the opportunity to go. This is held every single year during Police Week, and it really is a moving service. It went very well, and even God was not as hot as he usually is. I didn't walk away with second-degree burns on my face. Okay. I'd like to thank Public Works. I saw them out with the street sweeper. They've been doing several areas in town as well as the parade route, so everything looks nice, and even helping out the county there by doing Main Street. I can't read my handwriting here, I'm sorry. The website, the police, the interviews between the business administrator and community outreach, filling so much information for the residents of the town. And everybody compliments galore on that. Everybody thinks that is really great. Let's see, fishing derby walk. Okay. Something that I really thought Dan was going to bring up, because I know we got a notice on it from the tax collector. The estimated tax for the school tax for next year will be $480 on the average house, which is assessed at about $149,000. A little bit more than, the $300 everybody was expecting for the air conditioning. Also, but the town taxes for everything the town gives you, and it's from our parks to our police department, to sanitation, to roads, to maintaining our beautiful buildings and grounds. Everything that you get from the town is only going up $80. I really have to thank the council. We worked so hard. And of course, the chief financial officer and the business administrator who are working so hard to remember that, the taxpayers are still suffering from COVID. There's a lot of people that still have not recuperated. So I just didn't want so much of a culture shock when you get your estimated taxes. Please, we as the council up here did our darn best to keep it as low as possible. And still, we have never, some other towns, they say, oh, they're keeping their taxes low. They're taking away your services. This town has more services than any other town in Middlesex County. I just like to, some towns don't even have sanitation. You pay for that separately. So we really work very, very hard. We watch every one of those pennies if it's coming out of our own pockets. Other than that, Mayor, thank you.
Thank you for that very much. I appreciate it. Water, Sewer, and Environmental, Councilman Zabrowski, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Just very briefly, our hydrant flushing has been completed. There was over 1,400 that were flushed out during that period, which was terminated on May 4th of this year. We continue with maintenance as well as upgrades to our Dewhernal site, particularly to one of our wells, in order to make sure everything is up to standards, and standard water quality continues to be good with no issues. Just a personal note, I want to thank our director, Dave Leitner, for appearing with our BA on one of those podcasts to provide information about what our water and sewer department does do for them and what they can see in the future. I know that it's not in his wheelhouse to be part of something like that, so I do appreciate Dave doing that. Finally, myself, Donna, and Mary attended the National Sabre Day. I know there were so many things you guys talked about. Luckily, I got something left to talk about. But it was last Thursday, and as you may or may not know, Sabre was celebrating 40 years from the hiring of their first employee in Sayreville, which is their CEO, Albert Salama. It was a very nice occasion to be able to meet all the employees there, to get a tour of the facilities, understand exactly what they do for us, as well as what they do nationally and internationally with their products, but also good to know that they are very much a very green and clean corporation as well, with having a major recycling facility right in Monmouth Junction as well. So just a really nice event for a wonderful partner within our community. Madam Mayor, that is my report.
Thank you very much for that. Again, I almost said chief. I was getting so good. Thanks very much, Councilman Zabrowski. Planning and Zoning, Council President Anoha, please.
Thank you so much, Madam Mayor. So far, I want to express my gratitude to Ms. Gruhl and, her associates, even for the time that they took out to meet with our planning board last week regarding our master plan reexamination. And all of the residents and the various consultants as well that assisted us with feedback and just the overall deliberation in the meeting. I just want to express my gratitude. Perhaps maybe if we met in the last meeting, we would have been able to maybe reach out to more people, even for surveys and other areas for feedback. But I just want to express my gratitude overall for those that, played a role in seeing how we can create a vision for the future regarding how we plan. And, we're looking forward to, continuing with the framework and adding the land use portions as well. And, we're just grateful overall with the progress being made from the planning board side. We're looking forward to more progress from the zoning standpoint. It's and I guess this is more of a call to action for anyone who has any background when it comes to land use, when it comes to any form of, zoning understanding to, submit an application for our zoning board, as we do need members, and then just anyone who makes decisions with the next ethical standard over politics. Would be glad to receive your application to our zoning board so that we can continue our meetings. And but overall, those have been the major updates for both sides, and we're grateful for more progress that we're looking forward to. Thank you. And overall too, I want to express my gratitude even to those on the council currently for the different events that we were able to get to as of recent. So thank you for all the work being put in. Of course, we all can't be in one place at one time. So just want to express my gratitude to my fellow council members as well for the dedicated service. Those are the general updates for now. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that, Council President. For my report, because you all did such a phenomenal job at letting everybody know the different events in town, my report is very brief in essence. I would like to echo, though, Council President's comments. It's very important for residents to really step forward, not just listening to council meetings, but actually to have a more active role. It would be nice to have more people putting in for some of those very important boards, from planning and zoning, rent leveling, recreation. We need to have a bigger base of people wanting to get involved within our community so that it continues to thrive. And also so more people are aware of what's happening. So if you're somebody that is looking to turn around and actually contribute more to the town that you live in, that is one of the best ways to stay informed and actually make a difference. So as opposed to running for an elected official's position, that is an excellent way to make a difference in our town. With that, we're going to move on now to the public
Mayor?
portion. Yes.
Mayor, last time we met, you said if I had something to add after all the council members had their opportunity, that you would allow that. Will you allow that?
Of course. Go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, one thing I don't want to overlook is the people that I spoke to earlier. When you come up, we'll talk about your street and what's going on. But I did want to say, I did go to the planning board meeting, and the master plan was adopted. And this is the first time I'm part of the 10-year master plan that we're going to have. So I did ask some foundational questions, and just to share with the community at large, one of the things I think we need is outreach on how things work. It was explained to me that the master plan is a land use policy planning document. It identifies your goals and objectives, what's changed, what's still relevant, and what's occurred at the county and state level. So that gets rolled into where we are today. There was Alexa made a very good comment at the meeting about complete streets. I guess being a complete type of transportation methodology for a street. It will include things like statutory redevelopment, charging stations are in there. And what happens with the plan, in my understanding, is that there are going to be recommendations that come to the council for ordinances to be passed. So that's where the actual ordinance will be passed. And the ordinances will substantially be consistent with the plan that we receive. So you'll see that. And the other thing that will come out of that master plan document is a rezoning map, Jay. I think that's another major thing that will come out of it. All of those things will have to come through council. So For anyone in the public, the master plan is published on the website and we all have access to it, and we'll be seeing those ordinances come up. If you have any comments, let us know before we have to make that determination whether to pass or not an ordinance that comes up. So it was a very informative session. I agree. Ms. Susan Gruhl did a nice job of presenting all of that information and asking all those foundational questions. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you for that update also and for adding to those pieces. Anybody else from the council, or shall we move forward with our public portion? Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'll open to the public for any and all comments. All right. I'll just ask that you state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. I've never been to a council meeting before. My name is Kathy Berkowitz. I live at 10 Wisconsin Avenue in the Spinnaker Point development. I have a lot of concerns. I'm living there 2 years. I've seen streetlights go out and never get put back on. I've called the mayor's office from October till I think it was January, February, every week. We are a 55 and over community. We are not dead. We are alive. And it's dangerous back there. It's dark. We're down by the marina. It's dark. That's all I can say. It's very dark. And the lights go out on, there's one particular light out, I believe still for 6 months on where Ernston Road meets Gondik. That has been out, like I said, for 6 months. On Gondik, the lights go out periodically. I've called Dan Frankel's, I believe he's gone. He was a pleasure to work with. Glenn Spurzinski, okay. I left messages in on your phone. I have called the Middlesex County people, left messages. No one cares about us. We're not dead. We are alive. We're a 55 and over community, and it's dark. Another reason why I'm here is you've got that extra money. Well, we've got streets that I have written a letter to the mayor about an 82-year-old woman. And I think you're aware of what I'm going to say, Mr. Conti. And last year she fell in the street. She did not sue the town, but she asked if I would write the letter because I've always been a person of action. And I did write a letter to our mayor saying that our streets are so bad that this woman fell in the street. She was bloodied, black and blue. It was just horrible. And we have people in wheelchairs. We have people who walk. We have people who run. Our streets are down to gravel. I have pictures. It's so bad that we asked the township to come in at the end of our apron and give us a little bit of blacktop because we were all bottoming out as we pull out of our driveways. We are close to the water and the roads are going and they're almost gone. It's all gravel. So that extra $2 million, we're a very small community. Hey, you know where we are.
Yeah, I think, and Jay, I don't know if you know or can help out with that. Public Works did say Spinnaker was on the list to mill and pave.
Okay, we don't care what you do, but
Yeah.
as long as we can walk.
I don't know, can you confirm that or not? Not on the list, okay. For capital, I think it was. So I will, I think he was waiting on budget to be approved, I believe. And then he was going to give me a timeline, but I think it's set to go. It's on his agenda, put it that way. So let me find out where we stand with it, because I've been checking to see, but it's on the agenda to get that done. Let me see if he made any headway with that.
Also, I don't know what the, thank you. I don't know what what you do in this town, whether you clean the streets. I've never seen in 2 years that I'm living here, a street cleaner come through. Is that something this town has, street cleaners? Okay, I mean, it's like we're the forgotten people out there. Honestly, I have never seen a police patrol car except for twice. And 2 days in a row, they sat in our clubhouse parking lot for a couple of hours, which was lovely. Otherwise, if we do see the police, it's inevitable that the ambulance is with them, and that's not good. So every so often, we are A 55 and over, and there's one next to us, a new one, 55 and over community. It'd be nice if we have some police patrolling, because like I said, it's very dark back there. And when the streetlights go out, you know, it's just terrible, really is terrible. I did fill out that master plan, that survey. And one of the things that I really put down is, do you have people who come and cut down the weeds and the bushes and the trees? Because if you ever go from, let's say, Monmouth County down Route 9 and you get off of Ernstine Road, at that turnoff to go east, every sign that says something about Ernstine Road and it's to the right lane, whatever, is covered by bushes. For 2 years I've been living here, nobody's ever cut down. So I would hope that you'd have some people who come out and cut the grass and yeah, it's just terrible. And we have Pure, the club. Well, when Pure, the club has a party, the party is in the U-turn there. Every bottle that they use is thrown out onto the grass. And the grass is cut maybe once in a season. It's terrible, and I have to use the word disgusting. I've never seen a township, and it's sad, it bothers my heart, that doesn't care about cutting the grass and cleaning up. I come from Monmouth County, and I don't know, it was different where I used to live. We cared about cutting the grass, we cared about the sides of the road, how they looked. It would be nice if, you know, if something was done, and this is what I pointed out in the survey, the master plan. And I know it might be frivolous to some, but we should take pride in the town. And that's why I'm here. I feel that something has to be done. We have on Route 35, all these auto places and all these closed up places, and it's a sad looking town. And it may not be so important to you, but I think we should take pride in our town. And I'm only here, like I
Excuse me,
said, 2 years. and-
You're up at 5 minutes if you could just
Okay, I'm
wrap up.
sorry, I didn't
No,
know I
that's fine. No, it's,
That's okay.
we just like the limit to 5
Okay,
minutes and
that's
then.
fine. It was nice meeting you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hope something is done at least for our lights.
Well, while you were, I did speak to the chief already. The chief is going to contact JCP&L tomorrow in reference to the light. Yes, he is.
Thank you.
All right, next, please. Actually, yes, go ahead.
Good evening, Nadine Vislowski, resident 26 Eric Court in Parlin. Most of the council, I don't know if you know where Eric Court is located. We have pedestrian access to the high school near the blue maintenance building and where the fenced buses are. For the past couple of years now, we've had problems with student parking. We've had permit parking only from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m., 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, from 2006 until they took the signs down in 2021. So for the past 2 years, the parking has been increasingly bad. And the word I used the other day when I called the clerk's office was atrocious. And last Friday was not this past Friday, the 19th, but the previous Friday was kind of the tipping point for the parking, where many of my neighbors had called the police department and left a message with the traffic bureau. And later that afternoon, a patrolman did come down our street, and I did talk to him for a few minutes. And I also had mentioned that I did call the clerk's office and to find out if our street can be ordinanced, similar, not the same as School Drive, which had their ordinance passed earlier this year, but to have the Monday through Friday, 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. parking put back in place and the signs put back on our street, in addition to Jeffrey Court, because the only way to get to Eric Court is through Jeffrey Court. So both streets would have to be ordinance and the signs placed back up. So this way, if we do have an influx of student parking, they come before 7 because they're vying over the parking spots over our streets. They've moved our garbage cans. They leave their garbage. Don't use our garbage cans. They move them so they can park and they loiter. And it's just gotten to that point where we would like to ask to have the ordinance put into our streets, have the signs put back up. So if something does occur, we can call the police department and they can either be issued warnings or given a ticket or possibly towed. I would like to thank at this time the police department. They did come on Tuesday, the 16th. There were 22 cars parked on our street and they all got warnings. And Wednesday was the first time in a long time that there were no other students parking on the street. One student has come back. I see her parking. She's been there since Thursday. But that would be my request. And I don't know if you want, I do have copies of police reports. I have the 2006 letter stating that we were getting our signs. I don't know if someone would like to take this for personal reference. If someone could take it, if not, then so I would appreciate that. And other than the issue with the parking, it was also brought up when we met with Councilman Roberts the other night that the property adjoining the school and Eric Court, the school uses that property to park various vehicles. Hay bales is the latest addition. That's not very good for it's great for the rodent population, but I don't know why the hay bales are there. Snow equipment, but the leaves along, mostly my neighbor's fence who lives across from me, he lives at 21 Eric Court. The leaves are all over his fence. And his fence has been there a long time since my other neighbors were there before they moved. But if he goes to replace his fence, everything's going to topple over into his property. So the cleanup of the property, like I said, technically it is borough property. It's abandoned borough property, but the school does use that property for their storage.
Ma'am, if I may, just so you're aware, I did get some rather disturbing pictures forwarded to me by Councilwoman Roberts today. And we did reach out immediately to Aaron Hill, the BA for the Board of Ed, in the hopes of getting that addressed in the short term.
Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time. Turn it over to my neighbor now.
Hi, my name is Barbara Doigan. I live at 21 Eric Court. All the problems that Nadine just spoke about is happening in front of my house. And in fact, I actually brought a picture of what happens when there is an overflow. They park in the apron of the driveway. So this particular day that they came and did that, we did call because at first, I feel bad. We lived in the town a long time. My husband graduated from Saraville High, my children, my grandchildren, and I know what it's like for the kids to try to find a parking spot and get into school. But when it got to the point, like Nadine said, of 20 some cars, some of the kids, they don't realize, I know she didn't mean to do this, but my husband couldn't even get his truck out of the driveway. Thank God he didn't have to go anyplace. He helped me to get my car out to get to physical therapy. So that's why I'm here today. But my question to the council is, what are we doing with the overflow for the children? Is there something going on that they can park someplace else? I mean,
I know that the problem has been bad for a while and they just lost so many parking spaces in the school when they put up the those solar panels. So now it's even worse. They pretty much use all of Kennedy Park and they're even going down to the other end of Kennedy Park now too. I mean, there's nothing we can do,
so there's no alternative for the children. Is what you're saying.
I think they lost some parking too when the Dunkin' Donuts was put in. I know that my granddaughter was parking over there, in that space closest to the thing, and that's no longer available.
The buses.
Well, yeah, the buses are taking up parking on the opposite side that used to be, the students could park in, and the buses are there until the depot is going to be built. So but they can't park there.
Okay, well, I appreciate you listening to our problem. Thank you.
I agree with you. You're paying taxes.
Glenn, you probably don't know, but is there a reason why the signs were removed? Was it an ordinance issue or?
No, and actually, I was just sharing it with the attorney. It was temporary.
Ordinance.
Okay, but Alexa, I think that's you. I'm not sure. If you don't mind, I have somebody online that's okay, thank you. You can stand if you want or sit. I'll call you right back up. I only have the person online as Karen, so please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, my name is Karen Linder, 9 South Minnesink Avenue, Saraville. First, I wanted to thank you for the follow through on the no trucks signage coming up South Minnesink Avenue. When I spoke to you at a earlier meeting, you said that the trucks would be going down South Minnesink, coming up. Now there's signs down on Cheesequake, no trucks past a certain point, and there's no truck signs. But some trucks are still continuing to come up, I guess, getting used to it, maybe not knowing the tonnage. I was wondering if maybe there could be more signage down a little further, possibly by the curve by Minnesink, to let them know that they're not supposed to go up Minnesink anymore. Really wanted to thank you because
Yeah, I agree.
Can I ask a question?
I know exactly where she's talking about, and I think if we catch that visibility beforehand, I think we'll, like you said, there might be some that just don't realize that there is that we are enforcing that. So I know right where that turn is that you're talking about. I agree. I think that might even head off some individuals that are driving and doesn't realize, hey, I can't go down there anymore.
Yes, I mean, it's made such I know there's trucks still going up and they're not aware yet, or they haven't, seen the signs. That's why I was wondering if maybe we could get the extra signs and that might help. And what a difference it's made with the, slowly people are getting, getting into it and realizing it, and it has helped. And I wanted to thank the council and the mayor for that help with that, because it makes a big improvement. Thank you. And just one more thing. I don't know where the shooting range is past the arsenal. I don't know where it is, but we never heard it before. And now since those trees are gone and all the warehouses have been built, I hear it all day long. So I was just wondering if you know where that is.
On the S-curves.
I know
Town Avenue.
Yeah, it's on Bordentown Avenue. I know that.
By the S-curves.
Yeah, I know Councilman Zabrowski is probably the most well-versed with where that is. I think what would be great is maybe we can work with Shade Tree in some capacity and try and get additional buffers added. I agree. I can hear it now when I'm at Laurel Park. I never used to hear it before.
Thank you so much.
Mayor, if I may, we've started to have those preliminary discussions with the police administration about exploring noise attenuators, whether they're natural or man-made out there, and that discussion has started.
Yeah, especially since we're using that now range much more, and we have these joint contracts potentially with East Brunswick. I see that's on our agenda, as well as the county and so forth. So yeah, I never realized how close it was until I started to hear it. And at first I didn't know what it was. So
I know, and I hear it all day long. And I'm like, with everything that's going on in this world these days, to hear that, it's kind of unsettling sometimes, Now that I know where it's coming from. Thank you very much. And
thank you
for your help. Thank you for your help with South Minnesink.
Thank you. Thanks for keeping us posted. Glenn, before I forget, can you take a look at exactly what we're talking about if you don't know where that turn is? Because I do think one more sign over there would be very beneficial. Maybe we can get something up.
Yes, Mayor, and I'll have a side discussion with Jay, because I know we recently had some additional signage approved. I don't know if that's over and above what's there already.
Those signs were for the clearance on the bridge.
Yeah.
This request that was approved for the Washington Road section. Try to keep trucks away from it.
Okay, we'll take a look at that.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Jay. I do appreciate those clearance signs as well. I think that will be very beneficial also. Okay, I'm sorry, Alexa, you can come back up now. Thank you.
Not a problem. Alexa Harris, 47 East Cup Street. I just asked for a warning at the 1 minute mark. So I wanted to speak on the congestion and the comments about the master plan survey. I just asked for the consideration to send out emails for everyone who filled out the survey about any planning board meetings or any meetings in general that relate to that survey. That was a missed opportunity of outreach. I've emailed also in March about opportunities of outreach when it came to the survey and spreading the word. Hopefully in the future, the planning board and the council can maybe consider some of those with just general outreach on anything, but especially with something so important, especially about the transportation or I should say parking issues for high school students. Can we perhaps consider on increasing high school, like busing to the high school? There won't be any need to drive really if we have busing. This will not only help with air congestion and environmental concerns, as seen in the planning survey, responses, but also just people will be able to get to and from their private residences. There'll be less traffic, less casualties. It's really dangerous during rush hour when school students come out. It's really busy. So yeah, also it's just, I don't know, it kind of makes common sense to me, and I hope other people agree, but the more accessibility and security students have to getting to school on time, the more they can. So yeah, to that regard, I also want to talk about my experience on riding the bus, the only like NJ Transit local bus, which is the 815. It runs once an hour. Some parts of the evening, it goes like once every hour and a half. I'm just urging for this council and mayor to please talk with the Department of Transportation at the county and the state level, and with NJ Transit. We do need more busing. You know, it's not just for, you can't even go out. Even the coach bus was eliminated from the town. People can't really go across from town, right? Like there are grant opportunities for more busing, but if this is an NJ Transit issue, like if we can please advocate for the concern of residents, that'd be much appreciated. Students can't even go to Middlesex County or Rutgers. These are like really like highly attended universities from our alumni, right? So if students are commuting, they're taking their own car, which is even more congestion and safety of concern and environmental concerns as well. I have a question about the hybrid option for all the boards and commissions. There are boards and commissions that I would like to attend, but I can't attend physically. And sometimes there's more than one meeting in this building. I was just wondering on the timeline of infrastructure and yeah, on the infrastructure in particular, because some rooms don't have that capability.
That's on the agenda for the next meeting to be addressed for room 308.
Okay, great to hear. Great to hear. Thank you. And then also wanted to bring attention to some grants. There's the Safe Streets and Roads for All grant program, which is a federal program. The application is due July 10th. It's something I emailed this evening right before this meeting. So I don't expect anyone to really have any feedback on this. And then there's also a charging and fueling infrastructure discretionary grant, also a federal grant. Application was extended to June 13th of this summer. So the first grant helps with improving roadway safety with significantly reducing or eliminating roadway fatalities. This can really also have more beneficial effects when it comes to the environment. The IPCC report came out, and within the next 5 years, the temperatures are going to be increasing, making it more uncomfortable to even be outside. This is a huge concern for our very young and also for our very for our elderly community.
You have your 1 minute warning.
Thank you. And then also, my mom has a question about getting a handicap, like parking on a private street. What's the best course of action for us to inquire about this?
Usually, we'll send that to traffic safety and have them go out and survey the situation and give us a report back what they think. Yeah, you have to write a letter to traffic safety at what? Clerk's office.
So both or just one or the other? Oh, okay. Thank you. Also great to hear about the farmer's market. I was going to propose that today, but I'm so grateful that other people think like that as well. I also wanted to ask for permission to do a presentation next week. I mean, not next week, I'm sorry, the next council meeting. Like, what is the process for asking to do a presentation to the council and mayor?
What would the presentation be on? Usually our presentations are presented either through our boards or professionals. What were you thinking about as far as a presentation goes, Alexa?
A bike audit proposal. I honestly did this for our policy course, and I thought it would be really useful and something of interest to the mayor and council. Bike audit proposal. So what it is, it's basically like a survey. You can involve residents, volunteers, activists, professionals like the engineer, the mayor and council, your planning consultants, and seeing what the facilities can be implemented when it comes to bike lane networks. I've also done research on what the costs are, how long does it take. I have a list of like, I think 10 grants that you can look at as well. It could take like 10, I don't know what your max is, but if allowable 15, but I'll take 10. I can, if anything, I can email this over to the mayor and council for your consideration. But I mean, I would love to like present this because there's a lot of opportunities here. And this is such a great, like timeline wise, considering we have these results from the survey.
That's interesting. Alexa, I like the idea. Whatever info you have, I think, I know myself, send it over to me for sure. And I think include the rest of the council. I think that if we all peruse it and take a look at it, then we might be able to get you in touch with Glenn perhaps, and we'll see. We might end up bringing in professionals also though, to kind of speak on an expert level, unless you are a complete expert on that. I would never doubt that because you do come with so much knowledge, but we might be able to reach out to some other towns and take a look at it from a grander scale. But I do think it's a worthwhile discussion to have. So would you mind sending that over to all of us?
I do not. I will
And then
send
give
that over.
And then I think that's something we look at. We'll talk to Glenn, talk to a little bit more, and then get back to you, either having yourself do that formal presentation, or maybe we can reach out to other groups and other people that actually do that and would be able to advise us as a council if we were interested in implementing.
Okay. Yeah, I will send it over. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Alexa, I will say one thing, and I wrote down a lot of the questions that you did have. I agree with you wholeheartedly when it comes to alleviating some of the traffic concerns we have and the parking concerns from the high school. I think that busing, back in the day, we had that courtesy busing, then it was eliminated a number of years ago. Obviously, if our high school students, especially those that are driving, had the opportunity to use busing, we wouldn't have the type of issues that we do when it comes to our parking congestion and the safety within our roadways over in that area. So I do think that, Alexa, I appreciate whenever you come here, but I think that maybe I know you're super busy, but I know the Board of Education though does have their hybrid models. I think that it's something that you should present and mention to the Board of Education also. We wouldn't be able to implement that for them, but I do think it's something that they should probably consider. Our schools are not getting smaller, more and more kids are coming in, and it's not fair. It's not fair to the kids and it's not fair to our residents. The kids just want to get to school and have a place to park. But if other towns are able to offer busing for those students and making it a mandatory thing where you maybe don't offer permitted parking anywhere or just limited those spaces, then we wouldn't have some of the issues that we do.
Yeah. I will try, but if this mayor and council can please make that recommendation to the Board of Education, that'd be much appreciated. Also, sorry, I wanted to also propose a youth council if possible, so you guys can work more closely with
Mayor,
the high
we're
school students.
well past the 5-minute
you.
mark. Thank you.
Thank you very much, council. I appreciate it.
Wait, sorry, quick question about the timing. Does that include responses? So if I ask questions and someone responds, does that time also include in the 5 minutes?
I'm keeping track. I'm pausing.
Okay,
during
no,
the-
I was just wondering.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Alexa. All right. Anybody else from the council? I'm sorry, anybody else from the public, not the council? All right.
Coming up.
Somebody's coming up. Thanks, Mayor.
Yep.
Hi, Allison Hornbeck, 7 Driftwood Drive. Going on what Councilman Conti said about the public speeding sign that is now in Johnson's Lane, which is awesome. It needed to be there for forever. Can we also look at getting one on Ernston Road from the mini mall all the way down to 35? Because that's the Indianapolis Speedway. We can't even pull out of the neighborhood anymore. And there's one speed sign on that road going like towards 35 that says a 40-mile until you get closer to Eisenhower. But it's just bananas how fast everybody, because it's going downhill. So if we could get signs, whether or not people will listen to it, but it can't hurt. If we have them about, and they're solar powered, so maybe we can get them. I think they're really needed over there on that portion of Ernston Road. Second thing, really quick, since we have that extra money for roads, can we please look? We have so much traffic because of that Wawa. First of all, can we close that Wawa? That little back road? And if not, can we look at Alakwa, Dusco, Driftwood, absolutely, the curbs, the roads. I would love our neighborhood to look like Oakwood and Shide. that has absolutely no traffic, but is now beautiful. A couple years ago, those roads were done, the curbs and everything. It's beautiful. Please extend it to the other side because I wish my son could have come, but he has a summer class. He times it. There's a pothole that sits right before on Driftwood, right before you get to Dusco. Every 22 days, the road department is out there filling that thing up. And he's timed it. All we're doing is patching. The curbs are gone. So can we please just look, definitely Driftwood, Alakwa, where everybody's coming in and going to the Wawa, or they're cutting through, going to Starbucks, or they're cutting through the neighborhood to go to the Food and Fuel to get on the Parkway. We have a lot of traffic in that neighborhood and it really should be looked at. We are original to that neighborhood and I don't think it's ever been repaved or recurbed. And that's 50 plus years. So if we can, if they want to look at something in Johnson's Lane too, my God, we should really, if that's a town road and not a county road, it's bad. I mean, I don't know how people go over 25 on that road anyway, but
Uses me.
yeah, but so those two things, the sign for the speeding, and then let's look at the roads in Oak Tree East. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else from the public?
Ken Olszewski, 108 North Edward Street, Sayreville. If it looks like a duck and it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. I'm sure you've heard that expression in the past. Well, I'd like to take that duck out and substitute corruption. I think most of you know, I've talked about coming to council meetings since I was in high school. And that is a few years ago, despite the fact I may not look it. It's a long time ago. We all know about the things that have happened in town. Employees resigning because of corruption, council people resigning because of corruption, a borough and county official under pending indictment. And it really hasn't gotten much better. We have the violent death of a councilwoman, which is unsolved. We don't know if there's corruption involved there. The damage to the wall on Minnesink and area, we don't know whether there's anything tied in there to corruption. Let me tell you about a planning board meeting where these warehouses were approved. I'm not going to repeat the details of the meeting because I've talked about them and other people have talked about them. I'm going to tell you one thing that I've never discussed. Some of you know it because I've been at meetings where it was discussed and people were removed from the planning board because of it. But I came to the meeting and I parked my car. And as I was walking to the building, there was a discussion by a few people that I knew, and I stopped. And I overheard, well, I wasn't part of it, but I overheard, you can come to the microphone tonight and say anything you want, but this is being approved tonight. Now, if that's not corruption, how would you like to be on a case with a judge or a jury and then say, you can say anything you want, you're guilty. If that's not corruption, nothing is. So I think you people know what's going on. I don't really see, yeah, there have been some actions taken. The mayor's removed some planning board people. There's a lot of passiveness, I think, among this governing body. It's like, well, you know, sometimes maybe you think you were born on third base and hit a triple. But we can assure you, the public doesn't feel that way. You know, I've come here before, and I've talked about how I speak for myself. Well, I found out I'm speaking for quite a few other people because people come to me all over town whether it's the bakery or the sunny side or what's it. I can't say at this microphone what they tell me. I don't talk that way, but there are a lot of people know about this and they like to know what's being done. And I want to move on from there to the pilot because the pilot seems kind of the same thing. You know, it's, we heard at this microphone, it was asked, you know, anything about a pilot for the Trammell Crow project. And no, there was nothing discussed. Nothing discussed, but then we found out, oh yeah, the planning board, they recommended, Sarah recommended a pilot. Well, you know, I've
Mr.
been on
Olszewski?
most every board in town. I'm not gonna,
You're at 4 minutes.
yeah, okay, fine. I've been on pretty much all boards in town. I don't want to bore you with naming them, but every board I've been on have minutes. If you miss a meeting, there are minutes to the meeting. So I think we're being put on a little bit here. And when we talk about the pilot, our business administrator was kind enough to sit down with a couple of us and explain a little bit about the ideas on the pilot, et cetera. And he did a good job. Thank him for it. But from what I see, you know, there's a fight between this governing body and the school board. That doesn't help me as a taxpayer. I have to pay school taxes no matter what. And if school taxes are being cut out of the pilot by a pilot, you know, that's all the more I have to pay. That's all the more I have to pay. Somebody, from what I understand, and what might be proposed, I don't know how far it's gotten, but we're only going to get 80 cents on the dollar. To be whacked up 20 cents on a dollar is going to be the discount for Trammell Crow.
Mr. Olszewski, you're at 5 minutes if you could
Thank you.
please. Thank you.
There's a discount on for Trammell Crow. So who's being short of that? The taxpayer is being short of that. As I say it. I mean, does anybody have another answer on it? You people that sit on Sarah, where are we on this? Where are we on the governing body? Why did Sarah recommend a pilot? Did they like the looks of somebody? But does everybody, we talked tonight about Saber, what a good neighbor. I think the Councilman Zabrowski talked about it. Well, gee, did they get a pilot? I think they are a good neighbor, by the way. Did they get a pilot?
Mr. Olszewski, you're at
I'd like-
6 minutes. If you could please wrap it up. We have other individuals who are going to be speaking.
I'm
Thank you.
waiting for an answer from the
Yes,
public.
this
And then
is-
according to the rules of the council, I'll be glad to sit down and come back up when everybody else is finished.
Thank you.
Extend. But is there an answer from anybody up here first?
So it's not designed as a question and answer session. If you'd like, you can put your question in writing, and perhaps the council and or the BA.
I
can provide-
understand very well. I sat there for 6 years. So
Understood.
I know very well how it's designed.
So then
But I
I-
think these people who have been elected and put here by the voters have an obligation to answer the questions. And they
Understood.
don't seem to be doing it.
Thank you.
So thank you. Anybody got an answer? Do we know if this pilot is in the works and it's going to be done?
We authorized the business administrator to negotiate and work with our financial advisors and get back to us. Then we'll take a vote as a council. But we did authorize him to negotiate.
You've authorized that to be done.
Yes.
Again, thank you.
All right, thank you, Ken. And anyone else from the public?
Yes, somebody coming up, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, sir.
How you doing? I just came here to talk about a couple things tonight.
I just need name and address.
I'm not actually comfortable giving my name and address due to the safety concerns here in Sayreville.
You do have to identify yourself for the public record. We are creating a record here tonight. You can, if you are.
If I could do it privately, maybe then.
No, this
then
is a public setting. So if you're going to come and speak, you do have to identify yourself for the record.
I think it's more important that
I
I
understand.
mention the things that I'm here to talk about as opposed to me identifying myself over safety concerns. There is a lot of safety concerns here in Sayreville.
I
which is why
understand that.
Madam Mayor has decided not to run for re-election out of safety concerns. I have similar safety concerns.
I appreciate your safety concerns.
I
If you
think-
could please just identify yourself for the record, that would be great. Thank you.
I'm not comfortable doing so for my safety reasons. So if I may just proceed, I would really appreciate that.
Unfortunately, you do have to identify yourself.
So are you
before
going
the
to bar
public.
me from my First Amendment
I
right
did
to
not
speak
say I'm
here?
going to bar you from your First
Because I'm going
Amendment
to
rights.
continue, and I just want to be respectful. So
Sir, if you
I
could please just
have a couple
identify
things
yourself.
that I'd like to talk about. It's going to be short. I have a 5-minute time limit, okay?
Sir,
I have.
sir,
So
if you could please just
don't wanna-
identify yourself.
Just please, just stop interrupting me, okay? Now, some of the things I want to mention is,
Sir.
All right.
let's-
Let me
I-
just
it's-
interject. I do believe, I just want to make certain that we have the opportunity to actually air this section of our meeting. I don't want your words to not be able to be aired. If this is a legal precedent in order for the public session to occur, I understand 100% why this gentleman is uncomfortable with having any identifying, especially when it comes to address. That is something that I agree is a
Thank you, Mayor.
concern. However, do we need legally at least a name? Is that something that we have to provide under the rules of the law here regarding public meetings?
Mayor, yes, that's my understanding. A simple resident of Sayreville or a resident of New Jersey, as far as your address would suffice.
I'm not legally obligated to give my name. That is your policy. That's why I'm continuing, and I don't appreciate being interrupted.
So, hold on a second, though. We do have to have a little decorum, though, sir. Actually, there is some rules that we do have to follow. What I will ask is, for right now, for your safety and for your protection, and I want to be able to make sure that you are able to state what you wish. Would you be comfortable at least writing down for us on a piece of paper your name, and then we can turn around and look into legally if that would suffice as identification when there's a concern regarding.
Yeah, I didn't think there'd be any pushback with that accommodation. It's just, I
just don't want to have to cut out your comments as a result of any type of legal public meetings.
I would agree
So
too.
I
You
don't
guys
wanna
don't want to
have
find
that.
out my name through another way, another avenue. That's why I'm trying to just make my statements, and I think it would be in the best interest of this council and the town to just let me do so.
At this point, I personally don't have an issue with it. You do know that you are on camera, though, so that is identifying.
Absolutely. Of course,
Okay.
I'm aware.
Does anybody from the council have issue with this gentleman speaking at this point? And then we'll move forward if we need to regarding any type of, issue with editing and so forth from a legal perspective. Is that advisable?
Mayor, I believe that the borough has a policy with regard to this, and my recommendation is that if the council would so desire to allow the gentleman to speak with the alternative that you said, and they'd like to approve that, then that is certainly an avenue they can take. Otherwise, my advice would be is to stick to the policy of the borough council. Thank you.
Right. Thank you for that opinion. So at this point, I would have to leave
Can't
it
do it
then
for
into
anybody
the
then.
hands of the council.
Okay, and it's my position that I'm going to choose not to give my name and address, and I would like to continue to speak.
I have to ask that the council approve that then.
Mayor,
It's all yours.
if we're going to change the rules, and it has to change for everybody, nobody has to give their name and address anymore.
And that's something we should think about doing, because there is, in Trenton, there has been a bill put out to protect the identity of public officials, and I believe that's a good bill. And I think all of your addresses should be protected. I think we all have a right to privacy in this country. We have certain privacy rights, and there's a reason why I'm not legally obligated to give my name. I've gone to other towns, I've spoken. Nobody has barred me from speaking. So I would really hope that you guys are taking everything into consideration right now and choosing very wisely how we proceed here. So do we have any objections for me to speak tonight from anyone on the council? If so, please say it now.
Nobody has to.
Well,
give it.
wait, hold on. I'm the one that actually has to preside over that, unfortunately. So I did put that question out. I'll ask the council again. Do we wish for this gentleman to speak? In the event that he put his comments in writing and asked that they be read at the council meeting, would that have to be identified as who's speaking? I think we had that, especially during COVID. If he was to have written a letter or an email and asked that to be read into the minutes, I think that we have to allow that, correct?
Yeah, Mayor, I believe that's my understanding. I don't have what the COVID policies were in front of me right now, but that, to my best recollection, I think that would be sufficient.
And then let me also ask that even now without COVID, I do believe that if somebody was to write a letter of correspondence and ask for that to be read into the minutes, is that something that we would legally be obliged to do, regardless of whether or not it was identified with address and so forth, or?
Mayor, I don't feel comfortable rendering opinion on that particular subject as we sit here on the dais. I would like
Okay.
to reserve some time to perhaps look into it a little deeper, and before I do actually provide that legal advice. Thank you.
Okay, I appreciate that.
I mean, ultimately, Madam Mayor, it seems as though if the gentleman wants to make a comment, to elected officials, he can do that on his own time. But if he wants to make comments within the capacity of an official meeting, he has to do it in the official way.
I do agree. I do believe that that is accurate, Christian. I believe that I do believe what Christian
Recognize
is
the voice.
saying. You can make comment to any one of us, but when the public portion is in place, I think we are actually legally bound to follow the rules and the procedures that we have in place. I'm very sorry, sir.
Robert's rules.
Yeah, well, it's beyond Robert's rules. Robert's rules are specific to certain things, and then we also have adopted policy regarding how we locally run these meetings.
Absolutely. That's why if it's your policy that you're sticking to and you're going to bar me from speaking, I will respectfully sit down.
I think we can't make the policy change now, but it is something that we can consider because it does take, the council has to speak on it and it has to be advertised
Definitely.
and has to be. But I do want you to have the opportunity to speak. If you really are,
Versus
obviously I have no
California.
issue with the address, but I would like to hear what you have to say, at least by stating your name.
Cohen versus California.
I don't know. Cohen versus California. I'm assuming.
Yeah,
it's
I don't know that.
I'm not a lawyer.
My statements would have been over by now.
That's what he said his name is? That's what he said his name is, right?
Cohen versus California. Look into it.
Would you, I'll ask the attorney to write that down for us because I personally don't know that.
So what are we doing here?
Mayor, I think you offered the two options is that at this point, the council would take a vote to decide to let this gentleman speak under the condition that he provide the written, I believe it was the written response at that point.
I'm not going to do that.
Okay, thank you. And then alternatively is that the policy of the council is that in order to speak at public comment, you have to provide your name and your resident. So at that point, it's really in the purview of the council if they want to let this gentleman speak or not.
No, I would go, I would ask though, when it comes to the address, that it could be, as you had stated, Counselor, either resident of New Jersey or so forth. So,
Yes,
but
Mayor, that's my understanding that is sufficient.
I could also
Yeah,
be homeless and that would be sufficient too.
Right, that's the address as the marker isn't the issue. I just need at least a name, that's all.
I'm out of concerns for my safety. I'm not willing to do that.
Right. So that's where we're at. So since he's not willing, then his other options are to make comments in an unofficial capacity. Thank you.
Point of procedure.
Okay, point of procedure.
Council, at this point, we've kind of hit a roadblock here in the meeting. There are other individuals who want to proceed with public comment. If the gentleman wants to yield his time to allow the rest of the public a chance to speak, and then we could perhaps revisit, and or the council is going to have to make a call as to whether or not they want to let the gentleman speak under the circumstance we provided. He's already indicated for the record that he will not provide any written response as far as his name and or address, which has been noted. However, it has also been noted that it is the council's procedure that you have to provide your name and state where you are living or state where you're residing before you can do public comment.
Well, due to reasons to not hold this meeting up, I think you guys should make that decision right now.
Okay,
So we don't hold anyone else up.
So at this point, what we would be looking for then is if the council, is anybody from the council willing to ignore those rules and procedures? And Counselor, is this something that you said we would need to have a vote for?
Mayor, we're endeavoring to pull up the policies right now, just so we have a better look at it. My suggestion
Okay.
is that we proceed with public comment, and then perhaps these gentlemen can reconvene after the other individuals had a chance to speak, and we have a more of a chance to look at it. This is something that was sprung upon us. We obviously were not anticipating this.
Well, you can just allow me to speak, and I'm not going to hang around all night. I do need to go home and eat dinner and stuff, so.
So,
it's either-
sir, what I will ask is if you just give if we give our clerk an opportunity to review and then also pass that on to our attorney for just a couple of moments. I would ask if you would just sit right there on that front pew in the meantime. So that way they can take a look at it, peruse it. I don't think it would be very long.
I
And
have
we-
to leave. I have to leave in 5 minutes. I have somewhere I have to be.
Okay, I don't know if we're gonna have that answer though for you in 5 minutes. Jess is good, but sometimes it might take a little bit.
May I make a motion? We adjourn for 5 minutes till Jess can look this up.
Okay, is there a second on that motion for adjournment?
I second that.
Okay, roll call, please. Nicole, will you,
Just a
One second, Mayor.
thank you, yeah.
Okay. Sorry, Nicole.
Councilwoman Novak,
Yes.
Balka,
Yes.
Conti,
Yes.
Enoha,
No.
Roberts. Yes. Zabrowski.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll just adjourn for a few moments until we can hopefully get that policy back up.
That's a new one. Very strange.
Okay, yes, I'm ready if everybody is back and we have some type of information regarding. Before we can move forward, though, we would have to reconvene after our adjournment.
Motion to reconvene.
Thank you. Is there a second? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Counselor?
Thank you, Mayor. So I do appreciate you giving us some extra time to look into our code. It does turn out that in our code, we do not have right now codified that an individual has to provide their name. So that has been the past practice of the borough for many years. I know obviously it's our first year, but it's my understanding it's been practiced for many, many years. So my recommendation is tonight is that this gentleman is allowed to speak for his 5 minutes. And then from there, our suggestion is that you can essentially go back and modify the ordinance to add any of that additional requirements for public comment.
Thank you.
Okay, so sir, thank you for your patience and your 5 minutes begins now.
All right, thank you, Madam Mayor. Safety concerns, that's part of why I'm here. I think you're a good mayor, and I don't want you to not seek reelection due to fear as I stand here over fear issues. So I understand the weight of it and the depth and the seriousness of it, but it kills me to see the whole political landscape of Sayreville having been turned upside down after the murder of the beautiful Eunice, who was a political rising star. I've been waiting, hoping like the rest of you all that something would come about and they find who the person is or the perpetrator or whatever. And it kills me to see all the racially infused things that are going on in town. And it seems like every time I turn my head up, it's another racially infused thing, and it just kills me that more has been done to kind of hide the facts and stuff. And I know you guys aren't the investigators. I think we've all been, putting faith in the investigation, hoping that, the police do their job and they come up with some leads and stuff. Reading in the paper that the borough official phone was not looked into, a laptop wasn't looked into, and you gotta, who benefits from a crime is what you also got to look at. There's only one person in the room right now that has benefited from this murder who's sitting in her seat. And I'm not making accusations. I'm just saying it's very troublesome. It kills me. And then what, is he going to run for mayor? Because the mayor's not going to run anymore?
This has got to stop. How dare you accuse a sitting council person of benefiting from somebody's murder? Who the hell are you?
I simply said that he's the only one who has benefited from this. That's all.
That's an accusation.
No, it's not.
Got to stop.
It's not an accusation. I said it wasn't an accusation. I made sure I
Okay,
said that. I was clear about
we
that.
are gonna move forward with point of order at this point. Sir, I will ask that you keep to your 5 minutes. Please know that as the mayor, I will not, I won't sit by though and allow any type of besmirching of people that are up here unless there is some type of legitimate fact to that. So please, I just caution you to make sure that your statements are in fact,
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, there were not allegations. I've read things about lawsuits with racially infused stuff. Everything is so racially involved, and it just kills me that the political landscape has been upside down. It's been turned upside down. I respect all of you as council members, and I respect what you do for the community. And it kills me to think that there's people being threatened or scared about how to proceed with things because of whatever's going on behind closed doors, the things that the public aren't seeing. I don't know what's going on. I have no idea. But it just kills me that we still have no idea what's happened to this poor councilwoman. No answers, no leads. And it's just frustrating.
I agree with that 100%. It's very frustrating, disheartening, and sad. And I appreciate your understanding and empathy in relation to the situation that I find myself in. And I'm very grateful for the people like yourself that have reached out. It's one of the hardest decisions I've had to make. And yeah, I am not comfortable. I know some people turn around and they say, oh, she's using this as an excuse not to run. Trust me, had I felt safe and had my children felt safe, there's no doubt I would be running and seeking reelection.
I believe that, Mayor.
We have and I'm using this right now. I have to say pause, because I don't know what the future holds for me. I don't know if I will be back fighting for that seat again. But for right now, we do not know who murdered Eunice. We do not know why. And until I have those answers, my family does not sleep as peacefully as they used to. And I do not sleep as peaceful as I used to, nor do my parents and my husband.
I
And
understand.
I appreciate your empathy.
And just one more thing. Those were not allegations. That's not what that was. That's why I said those weren't allegations. I've read about lawsuits with racially infused words, the N-word being thrown around. All of this is very troublesome. That's why I'm here. I don't want people to stay silent. I want people to speak up about these concerns. I want this murder to get solved. I want to see everybody go back to having a little bit of peace and being able to sleep at night with less fear. That's what I want. And I know I'm not the only one. Thank you.
I agree with you. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your patience. I also appreciate the fact that you had us look into our policy, and we're doing the right thing, and we'll see what the council does moving forward. Go ahead, sir.
I am El Rampador. I'm with sativacross.org. We're a 501c3 here in New Jersey fighting for cannabis patients' rights and disability rights. I'm gonna look directly at the mayor. Mayor, do not live in fear. God has a plan. I know you believe in God. Good will always defeat evil. This evil will not survive. I'm telling you, Mayor, do not give up. You need to sit back on this council, because if they're going to come after you, they're going to come after you at home. They're going to come after you whatever. So you might as well come here, sit next to the devil, and go down swinging with the rest of us. Fight this evil with us. This is evil. This is satanic, what's going on in this town. And people that would stick up for racism and defend racism is just as bad. You should not defend racism. Mayor, why are you afraid to come to this town? Do you not feel the police can protect you? Why do you feel that?
I'm not afraid to. I'm actually in this town. I love my town. When it comes to the council being seated there, I do have concern about coming there because I don't feel that we have enough security in place. I think that there's a couple of things that we need to do in order to make sure that our residents feel safe and comfortable. I made this public. It's been on the news. I did receive a letter sent to my office that had to be sent out for investigation. I don't know what the outcome of that was. And I actually have never held that letter in my hand. I was only read it over the phone. And I was told by the police chief that the prosecutor was not willing to let me actually have a copy of that letter so that I could hold it in my hands and actually look at it. What was read to me was the most disturbing, nasty, heinous, disgusting things I've ever had to address to myself. And it was laden with swastikas, and it was also punctuated with swastikas right on the heels of Eunice's murder. Some people might argue that the letter wasn't directly threatening my life, but I'm sorry, it's close enough. And for my children, close enough. When it comes to coming into council chambers, I will say I did come into council chambers once I was told that we were going to have a little bit more increased security. I was uncomfortable, however, with the officer that was selected to do that detail that day, because I know that there is in fact opposition with myself and other letters that were sent to me regarding Eunice's appointment. So I didn't find that to be the most comforting environment for myself either. So after attempting to come and feeling comfortable in that seat, after that day, I chose, really after speaking with my family, that that's really not the best environment for me right now. But I do love this town and I do feel safe. And when it comes to me being able to control where I am and when I'm in certain environments, I've taken it upon myself to protect my family to the best of my ability. Do I believe that the police are there to protect and support? Yes, I do. But there is just way too many unanswered questions. even with our police force, they can't be everywhere. I don't have around the clock police security. We're not like, senators and, people in Congress. We don't get that detail here as elected officials. We're locally elected officials and we are highly visible. And I have no idea who shot Eunice multiple times. I have no idea who that dark figure was that was apparently running away. I have no idea why, but I do know, in living in the political landscape that I've been a part of, that there are things that make me feel very uncomfortable. So I don't know what caused her murder, who caused her murder, and why. So until I have those answers, I'm going to protect myself. But I am going to fight like hell. And I am going to make sure, whether I'm sitting in that seat or whether I'm sitting here, I'm going to call out what I see. You saw that when a gentleman came to the microphone today wanting to be reappointed to a board. I tried to be as polite as I possibly could. I tried to give that gentleman a little bit of respect and not have to go down the road of the email that he sent, that I read, that I saw, that did in fact have really inappropriate racist statements. I'm going to call out what I need to call out.
That's why we need you here.
Thank you.
We need God-fearing people like you to defeat the evil that's going on here. 2 days after Eunice's murder, Governor Murphy, actually, it wasn't just Governor Murphy, it was Governor Murphy and all his billionaire friends decided to turn the investigation one way. Now, his billionaire friends, of course, control New Jersey. So everything went that way. The FBI, everybody went one way. They said, don't look over here, look over here. It wasn't political. Well, how did Governor Murphy know that? What did he know that we don't know? Let me tell you one thing that I do know. I got a PBA card here because I help good cops. This is here, Mr. Zabrowski, you can see this. It's a brand new PBA card. I get this every year because I helped cops get their cannabis cards. And I also helped police to be able to use cannabis off duty. So all the police chiefs out there that I've talked to over the years, hundreds and hundreds of police, 2/3 of them, just like the vote, 2/3 of them couldn't wait till it became legal so they could smoke cannabis and not use opiates and not use beer, not use all these other things that were killing them. So to all those cops out there, you're welcome. I help the good cops and I love good cops. There's nothing better than a good cop and there's nothing worse than a bad cop. Wouldn't you agree, Mr. Zabrowski? Nothing worse, right? Well, about 4 years ago, we came to this council and I was with my friend Jeff Oakes and he was dying from cancer and he had stage 4 cancer. And he drove all the way up here to talk to you because you were banning medical cannabis and you were part of Ramp and Sam and then part of Kevin Sabet's crew that was hurting medical cannabis patients. And he came up here fighting his cancer. He was sick, but it was important to him to come up here and tell you what's up. And when we went outside, you literally ran away from me. You remember that? You ran away from me in my wheelchair like a mouse. I don't know why you would do that. You had police all around you, but you ran away from me, got in your truck and took off. I don't appreciate that. And I don't appreciate you guys having a meeting behind here. If you have something to say to each other, go to executive session. You guys are having your own meeting here. You're disrespecting the rest of the council because you're not even paying attention to what they're saying. You're having your own meeting and you watch the video. Every time I'm pointing to you, that's when you're interrupting.
Sir,
You're interrupting. I told you to cut it out.
Sir, you're at 4 minutes if you could please. Thank you.
There's a cloud of racism. And I will say this. There's only one person with a motive, only one person with means that I could see. I don't know why the investigation is going the other way. Zabrowski, may God have mercy on your soul!
Ladies and gentlemen, does anybody else have any comments from the public? I see none online. Is anybody walking forward? No?
None, Mayor.
Okay, so at this point, I will entertain a motion to close the public portion.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Okay, roll call. I'm sorry, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, any opposed? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that that comes to the end of our meeting at this point. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in
I
favor?
really would like to make a comment.
Go ahead, Mary.
I know that gentleman made a point of saying it wasn't an accusation. It damn well was an accusation. There's nobody up here that hasn't been deeply affected by Eunice's death. Nobody, just because Zabrowski's name was put up by the Republican Party does not mean that he somehow engineered this whole thing for his benefit. And I think that was totally inappropriate. And John, I'm sorry that you had to hear that. Yes, for adjournment.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to our second meeting unless anybody needs a break. All right, seeing none.
I need
we're
a
all-
drink.
I need cough medicine. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for a salute to our flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, statement of publications again, please.
Take notice that this agenda meeting of the mayor and council being held this 22nd day of May 2023 has been advertised and posted in accordance with Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975. Councilpersons Balca.
Here.
Conti.
Here.
Novak.
Here.
Noha.
Here.
Roberts.
Here.
Zabrowski. All right, I'm gonna go through, so stop me if you have any questions. Authorization to re-advertise for RFPs for the Sarah investigation. Actually, I need guidance on that.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Anybody got a problem with that?
Can we put a maximum on it or something as opposed to,
no. Nope.
no, huh?
Well, this is only to go out for
RFP.
re-advertise. We're not-
Re-advertise.
If
Okay.
it comes back and we don't like it.
Okay, that's true.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
RFP last time where we changed the wording.
I think there's just one blurb that needs to be changed.
I think people are afraid to put in for it because it's banned you from doing borough work for 10 years or something like
Well,
that.
that's what they wanted.
Okay.
That's what the council wanted at that time. Do you still 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, if we're looking into that, I
Okay.
gotta make sure it's not somebody.
Wait a
that's-
minute, it's not banning them from doing work for the borough for 10 years. It's we don't want somebody potentially that has worked for the borough. They'd be investigating themselves.
That's
what you just said.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It was a little different. I thought you said that they couldn't work.
They
for the
couldn't
borough.
work for us for the last 10 years.
Yeah, I mean, like, because that's what we agreed we would go back and research was up to 10 years. Listen, I put the RFP out. I mean, you made that slight change. And if nothing comes back, I think we do a short deadline. Then, we can turn around and at the very least, for me, the RFP would need to definitely go out for the financial advisor or for the auditor, but, we're not
That's for
bound to
both.
this.
It's for both.
That we only got one, right? That was the
That was the attorney, yes.
Okay. I mean, how long do you want to put it out for this? Last time we did it for how long?
I don't recall.
I mean,
Probably 4 weeks or so, I want to say.
yeah, I would say no more than 4 weeks again.
Okay.
So that would
Petition-
bring us,
Okay.
if we does this have to go out? Well, when would
Yeah,
we
we
be able to advertise? We'd be able to advertise after approval tonight?
Correct.
So that would bring us to what date when it comes to RFPs would be due? Make it 3 weeks. I mean, we'll know if people are interested in taking this in a short amount of time.
Yep, not a problem.
All right, so we could do 3 weeks and that would bring us to, the 5th?
Well, 3 weeks for my advertising date. I think it has to be longer than 3 weeks because I think it has to be at least 20 days.
At least 20 days, so stick it with the 4 weeks then.
Yep.
See how it goes.
Okay. Petition received from Cablevision of Raritan Valley to relocate its office from 2909 Washington Road to 1028 Route 9 in Old Bridge.
Jess, can I ask a question about that one? Will this be on our council agenda for the next meeting? Or is this a final approval?
Well, we would have to amend our ordinance because it states our ordinance that they have to.
So that's something that the council would have to consider at this point, but for purposes of today, I believe that it's administrative at this point for them to move, that they would need some sort of letter from the borough council.
Yeah, we actually have a Cablevision representative here that can speak to you with regard to that.
I don't know if they moved.
It's not from cable.
Hi, good evening. I'm Marilyn Davis with Optimum. I'm the Senior Director of Government Affairs. I've been here before many years ago. Happy to come back. As stated, we are in the process of relocating our store from the Parlin location to about, I think, 500 feet is what I was told, outside of the city into Old Bridge, into a new development. We're bringing an experience store, like a Apple-like store. So we're upgrading the store and we're just looking for the town. We've appealed to the BPU to relocate the store, which is the process. And they've asked for a letter from the town, which I think we've shared with the town, the draft letter. And then we'll amend the ordinance afterwards. So the letter is just to say the town doesn't have an issue with us relocating the store, and then we'll amend the ordinance to say that we will keep a store within, I think, a 2 or 3 mile radius from the town.
Does anyone know?
I have to ask, I'm sorry, I have to ask a legal opinion. Can we just give the letter without first changing the ordinance? That's my question, because our ordinance states they have to keep an order.
No, absolutely. The process that was just articulated is the proper process. The initial appeal to the BPU, and then from there, the town can authorize the letter be issued, and then it would ultimately have to be memorialized by amending the resolution.
Takes 2 meetings to,
I'd have to tell you.
2 meetings
Just so you know, I don't know if this is going to be in us, but quite frankly, we have a contract and I'd like to see your store stay in Saraville. We have a lot of residents that can't really drive that far, and it's still rather a drive to get up to the Gateway Shopping Plaza, at least another 2 miles or 2.5 miles from where you're currently there. And many of them are seniors that like to be able to get the opportunity to see your customer service. I'd suggest that perhaps maybe upgrading the store that you currently have as opposed to moving it and keeping it in Saraville where it should be.
Well, Councilman, I receive what you're saying, and I want you to understand that there are 2 options here. Right now, currently, Saraville's operating under a local franchise agreement. The option is that we can flip it to a system-wide agreement where you have no voice in the agreement that's for in the franchise, with the franchise. So I understand what you're concerned, and from our perspective, it's a few
Are you
miles.
saying we don't have to franchise anymore?
No,
We can get out
no.
of that?
There are two franchises that exist. One is a local franchise agreement and one is a system-wide. Under the local franchise agreement, the town has the opportunity to opine and we can negotiate, right? That's the local. The system-wide, what happens is that we can then flip it to a system-wide where currently you're receiving a 2% return on the subscribers in town. Under the system-wide, you would get 3.5% and you will have no voice in the process.
Perhaps we should negotiate because we do have an ordinance that says you stay.
Not in a system-wide, in the local franchise.
In any case, I think we should stay with the store in our town and be able to service the residents as we should. And quite frankly, I'm not so certain you do a great job doing that.
That is your opinion, and I receive that.
It's my opinion.
Okay, and I receive it. Thank you.
Okay, any other comments on that?
Yeah, so there's going to have to be a vote as to whether or not you're going to authorize as the council the issuance of the letter that was discussed by the representative. Or if not, if you'd like to deny that request, then that's within your purview as council.
So their location is also in the franchise agreement, plus it's in an ordinance, or no?
It's in the ordinance.
Yeah, it's in the ordinance. I don't know if it's in the franchise agreement or
If
not.
it's in the franchise agreement, I think we should negotiate something out of it. If we're gonna give them rights to move, we should get free services at all public buildings at least, or something like that, where we can recoup something out of it.
At this point, do you think, because we're getting into negotiations right now, is this something we need to discuss in closed? I think we need to discuss in closed.
That's a good idea.
Okay.
I agree.
Would you agree, Sal?
Yeah, Mayor, if you'd like, you can reserve on this and we could move forward with the rest of the agenda and move into close and discuss, or alternatively, we can go into close now and then come back out and finish the agenda.
I would recommend we continue with the rest of this agenda. We can go into executive. At this point, though, I think that everybody also needs to familiarize themselves. And I don't know how familiar you are with the entire agreement that we have with Optimum right now. Is this something you think that's going to require a little research on your end?
Well, I mean, it depends really what the board's purview is on this, I mean, as we sit here right now, I think with the representative here, she's available to answer any questions and provide more detail as to, the options and the agreement and the process. But it's really up to the council.
Okay, so let's move forward with what our initial plan was. We'll run through the rest of the agenda. We can go into executive as this deals with some negotiations. I don't think we can negotiate open in public is the way we are doing it. And then if we have any additional comments to executive, we can bring in the representative. Okay, any objection to that on the council? Okay, I think that's the best way to move forward. Let's continue then, Jessica, with our agenda.
Application for social affair permits received from the following: Cerro PBA to serve beer and wine at the PBA Summerfest on August 26 from 12 to 5 p.m. at Burks Park. VFW Old Bridge Memorial Post 7508 to serve beer and wine at their third annual Memorial Bike Wash on June 3rd from 12 to 5 at their post. Authorization to award a contract to Yorktel through NJ State Contract for the installation of AV upgrades to room 308 in an amount not to exceed $17,300.
I just have a question with this. This is how many boards do we currently have working out of 308 for hybrid meeting?
I didn't catch it.
How many?
Again, please.
How many boards do we have out of 308?
Yeah, how many meetings, public meetings would we be having running out of 308?
Three environmental, Sarah. There's probably 4 or 5.
4 or 5 boards that run out of 308 specifically?
Because it's at the exact same time.
And it's 17,930. There's quite a few boards.
That go in 308? Jessica said, Mayor, that there's quite a few that use 308.
Okay.
And what's that number, Jess?
17,930.
17,930.
Merit for my proofreader.
There's an extra.
I just didn't know it was 130, 79,000.
And all of those boards are going to be running hybrid meetings out of there now?
I don't think you required all.
I don't think we've shared the ability to do that yet until we get the equipment ordered and installed. But we'll certainly instruct them that it's available. And
But right now, the only boards that we have that we are pushing for hybrid meetings would be our board, the planning, the zoning, and the redevelopment agency. So is this an $18,000 cost in order to see if the redevelopment agency is now going to run their meetings hybrid?
I can't speak to the actions of that board, but it was the instruction to the council that we explore this to equip that room to have the ability for hybrids there. But as far as control of that, that'll fall to this body, I would imagine.
Well, that would fall actually to the redevelopment agency. We're going to put in an $18,000 system in order to see if they are going to, in fact, hold hybrid meetings. And if they decide one day that they no longer want to hold their meetings on our premises, then we just put $18,000 into a room. But, the council can do what they want. I don't know why they don't run their meetings.
The chairman has said that he has no problem with hybrid meetings. So.
Yeah, but he refuses to hold them in council chambers. No, I just want to make sure that the public is aware that the redevelopment agency has no problems with hybrid meetings as long as they get to hold them in the room that they want, and we spend $18,000. That's fine.
Mayor, we've had people come and request that all of our meetings be held.
I requested.
Okay, so No,
no
I'm saying
surprise.
all meetings, not just land use meetings, that they
I-
would
I
like to be able to sit at home. So our best
I
thing
agree
is to
with
get
those.
every room set up for hybrid ASAP.
And I believe the decision was actually not that it wasn't wanted. It was just that the council could not make that decision on behalf of Sarah. It had to be Sarah's decision. We're putting in the hybrid ability in the room.
No, that's not accurate. What we were allowed to do was tell the redevelopment agency if they are to hold if they are going to use our facilities, that they had to hold it in the room that we wanted, which is this room. But nobody on the council wanted to turn around. Well, I shouldn't say nobody. The council voted that down. So what we're saying, that is the way it happened, Donna. That is the way that this
It is halfway the way that it happened. And my reason for voting against it is because it was not the council's decision to make.
It is the council's
And
decision to make.
The council's decision is to make where it is held, if it's held in this building, but it's Sarah's decision to make where they hold their meeting. There's a slight distinction there. And I did not want to set a precedent that the council is going to make decisions that belong to Sarah.
No. Stop. That is not the way that, Donna, it's very simple. You're a councilwoman and you determine through your vote and the majority where the redevelopment agency is going to hold their meetings if they choose to hold them on our premises.
Simple.
That's what it came down to. They're allowed to hold it wherever they want. You turned around and said, no, I don't want to tell them where to hold their meetings. They chose to hold their meetings in 308 for right now. Now, the chairman is saying that he has no problem with hybrid meetings, but he will only hold a hybrid meeting, apparently, I don't know, if we outfit 308 with an $18,000 system, which is basically what it comes down to. That's all. I just want the public to be aware. Now, I think it's wonderful that we'll be able to have all of our boards hold, all of our committees hold hybrid meetings. But let's just make this clear. All of those other boards can hold those meetings here in this room. Right now, the redevelopment agency is basically holding our town and our taxpayers hostage, saying if we want to make sure that we have transparency on that board, they're going to do it, and they're going to do it in 308, and they're going to turn around, and we're going to have to outfit that with $18,000 worth of equipment, and they still have the right to turn around and say if they want, never mind, we're not holding it here anyway. That's all.
Hey, Mayor,
Right,
this, as
right.
far as I know, this has been in the works for several years to put every single meeting room capable of doing Zoom. So I mean, I don't know what all of this is about. We were going to do this anyway. It has always been part of the plan. We just chose to do this one first and then move to the other ones. It's always been the plan. I don't know what the big deal is here.
Mary, I think that your recollection is a bit off, and the plan was not to turn around. We never said we're going to outfit 308 first or 310 first. For me, the only board that's really holding and has to hold anything in 308, according to them, is the redevelopment agency. Shade Tree, Rent Leveling, and all the others actually hold their meetings primarily in 310. So let's be honest, okay, if we're really going to be
The clerk
honest.
just said she has several groups have their
Mary,
meetings in three. Are you
Mary.
calling the clerk a liar, Mayor?
I wouldn't, Mary, nice try. I didn't say that. I'm the one that asked her how many boards are there. So if I
Okay,
was
so
calling her a liar.
this was always in the plan.
Okay, Mary.
I just
Mayor,
confirmed
maybe
it
in
with
the
the business
meantime-
administrator that this has always been in the plan. So maybe because you're not coming to meetings, you missed some of this.
No, well, Mary, I actually come to all the meetings. I was very sad
No.
that for the first time in probably multiple decades, we actually had to close a meeting because we didn't have a quorum. But nonetheless, I don't mind. Maybe you can go and implore the redevelopment agency chairman again, because I'm assuming he's still refusing to do hybrid meetings unless it's in 308. Maybe you can implore him to come onto the council chambers so we can start watching these meetings now. And then I won't feel the way I feel right now, which is this is just a game that we have being played through the redevelopment agency. Maybe
Mayor,
then I would turn
Mayor,
around
I'm
and
sorry.
say,
I think this
always
is a
the
game
plan.
with you. You were on this board for 5 freaking years.
You're right.
And never once did you say anything about the way anything was done.
Oh, okay. Really? Because for 5 years, I'll tell you right now, Mr. Samuels was furious with me when I opposed moving forward with the national lead properties unless they paid their fair share into the spending plan for for the affordable housing. Don't tell me what my votes are, because I can tell you right now, I've had some of the most contentious meetings in that room. And Jay, I'm quite certain you could probably remember some of those as well. So don't tell me what I did for 5 years on that redevelopment agency. I sat to the right, to the left of Rennie Travisano, who I miss dearly, because we made sure to try and fight the good fight. So don't turn around and call my values and my votes into question. So maybe you can turn around and ask how furious that board was, because when we were working through that affordable housing plan and the fighting that took place, you want to talk about an uncomfortable situation, go back and watch some of those meetings. Okay. I always stood for what I believed in. Ladies and gentlemen, again, I'm just putting on the record that that's what I feel this dollar amount is ultimately for. I want nothing but transparency on all of the boards. But again, I'll implore our council members on the redevelopment agency, because all we have to do right now is go through 2 meetings to approve this purchase, this monetary amount, and then we have to work towards moving forward with actually installing the equipment. In the meantime, we still do not have eyes into the redevelopment agency, because the redevelopment agency is refusing to meet in council chambers for hybrid sessions. That's it. That's all I have to say on this.
And then once it's installed, they can simply leave to the next room that doesn't have the capabilities and give the same exact reasoning.
Yeah. And who knows if that chairman is still going to be the chairman. So we shall see. But I'm glad, though, that all of the other committees that meet can use 308 if they so choose, and hopefully go hybrid. That is what I've been pushing for since we were in COVID and beyond. Ladies and gentlemen, let's keep
You
on
raise a good
going.
point, though. You raise a good point that there's going to be a reorg there over the summer. So if this is a resolution, it takes a couple of meetings. We've got one in June, one in July. Will we have a chance to back it?
It only takes a couple of meetings for an ordinance, not a resolution. If we do the resolution now, it's done.
Because honestly, I would say we wait for the reorg to occur, see if there's a change there, because if there's a change there and then they say, let's go into council chambers instead of 308, and then 308 sits idle with $17,000 worth of equipment in there. I say we just exercise a little bit of patience with it, wait and see if that changes.
We wanted to do 308,
Well,
310.
I think maybe we evaluate the usage of 308 and see if there's an option that,
We're going to find out exactly how many people.
yeah, and see if, I don't know, more can come in here if that's the case. Because if we can save 18,000, maybe we can say, because I would hate to see it happen where we do that and then all of a sudden, nobody's using that room anymore.
Oh, so you're concurring with what I'm saying. Thanks, Vince.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a level head. I got a level head. I can use it once in a while.
But you know, Councilman Conti, right? The challenge is that, like, primarily, I would say every council meeting or every other council meeting, we do have residents that, you know, complain about the transparency to the board, you know. So it seems as though our only options are to invest money. We're talking about almost $20,000 here, just to see if we can potentially help that as a solution to our residents that continuously bring up these complaints. But even that $20,000 check won't even necessarily help. I think you see that. So where does that leave us? Because if the alternative is, well, let's just wait till July. I don't even know why it's supposed to be July to begin with. That's another conversation. But again, how is that the solution? Because it seems as though the only way to really attend to the residents that have been complaining about transparency is if we work with every board, especially the most notable ones, including Sarah, to say, for now, in the meantime, you know, hold your hybrid meetings within the council chambers for the sake of our residents. I think that's the best way to strike a balance here.
Okay. 5 groups meet in 308 and only 2 meet in 310. Just so you know, 308 is the most used room other than borough.
We can tell them to move to 310. We have the control of the council.
They can get new members tomorrow and say that room doesn't suit their needs and move somewhere else.
A lot of
You know
these
what I mean?
groups meet at the exact same time. We can't move them all into one room. I know for a fact that the Shade Tree meets at the exact same time as Sarah. And then
But residents
meets at
aren't.
the same time as some other group. Open
But
Space
residents-
also
but
meets
residents-
in
residents-
308.
Council
residents-
chambers, there wouldn't be a problem.
But there
Yeah,
is a
and the-
problem because other groups use this.
But
Sarah
Councilwoman
is the
Novak,
only
right?
one that is the obstacle here. Mary, you just proved it.
Yeah, with all due respect, residents are not coming every month complaining about the Shade Tree meetings or the other committee meetings. It's primarily Sarah.
Okay.
So
Spending the money or aren't spending the money, you know. I call for a vote.
Ultimately, we have to spend the money because we had that plan, as
We
you
don't
said
have to.
earlier.
Ultimately, we don't have to spend the money. Ultimately, we can make use of the money we already invested into council chambers and
Yes, but
allow
there-
other committees.
There
to take
aren't
advantage
enough
of those
hours,
resources as
there
well.
aren't enough days to
Right, so let's start
use
with one.
council
Let's
chambers.
start.
Everybody can't use council chambers.
Since there's not enough hours
Everybody
or enough.
cannot use council chambers.
Since everyone cannot
Would
use
there be a
council chambers.
scheduling problem?
Mary, can you please let
since-
council president speak?
I'm
since
asking
every-
Jessica,
since-
would there be a scheduling problem?
Since everyone cannot use council chambers, we should start with the most notable, which begins with Sarah. You know, we don't need to schedule every single committee. We can start with the most notable ones. So planning board, coordinates, zoning coordinates. The next on the list ideally should be Sarah. And that's what this conversation has always been about.
They meet over there. Rec advisory meets over there.
All right, so go ahead. You want to take your vote? Find out how many council people want to turn around and invest in the $18,000 in room 308.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
if I may, just for clarifications, this is to put on for a resolution would be needed for this. So
Yep.
So ultimately, the vote to approve these costs would occur at the next
meeting.
No,
This
I
is
understand.
Just to put it on resolution.
No, I understand the
Okay.
process. I understand the process. Mary turned around and she said she was calling for a vote. Mary, you said it. What do you want them to vote on?
I want to vote on whether we're going to put this on the agenda for the next
There you
meeting
go.
as a resolution.
There you go. She's calling for a vote.
I make a motion that we put it on the, not that a motion is needed, but that we put this on the agenda for the, as a resolution for the next meeting.
Is there a second? I know it's not necessary, but she's calling for the vote. Is there a second?
I guess not.
I'll second that.
There you go. Roll call it.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Balca,
No.
Conti,
Put it on the agenda. Yes.
Enoha,
No.
Roberts.
Yes.
Zabrowski.
Yes.
Okay, it's going on the agenda for a
All right,
resolution.
here you go. So there'll be a resolution on the agenda at the next meeting for $18,000 worth of equipment in room 308. All right, next.
Authorization to scrap 13 filing cabinets which are no longer needed for public use. Authorization to apply for a lead grant assistance program with the Department of Community Affairs in an amount not to exceed, in an amount of $21,400. Requests to travel received from the following: engine company number 1 to attend a wedding on June 29th in Bud Lake. Authorization to award a contract to Commercial Interiors Direct for carpeting at the Public Safety Complex through the Hudson County Education Services Commission Co-op in the
Hey,
amount of.
who's getting married real quick? Who's getting married in Bud Lake? Do we know?
One of the firemen and engine company.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
In the amount of $134,872.35. Authorization to award a contract for janitorial services at the Public Safety Complex. Proposals were received on May 17th and are being evaluated. Yes.
We have a TNR ordinance that has some incomplete pieces to it. I'd like to direct our attorney to tighten the ordinance up to identify the number of committee members on that ordinance and the appointments for that. And I know that there are some that have been identified from other groups, but we need the number of people on the committee so that we can form the committee and move forward on it. So I make a motion that we amend that ordinance in that fashion.
Maybe it's coming from, yeah, somebody that is not muted.
Oh, I can second that.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm hearing something, but it obviously somebody's unmuted. That's on my thing.
The squeak you're hearing?
I don't know. I was going to say, is that a child? Is that a cat? I keep hearing something.
Okay. The cat, yeah.
Authorization for the fire department to use 3 vehicles taken out of service and no longer for public use for extrication training. Following the training, approval hereby granted for this vehicles to be scrapped. Authorization to scrap 2 vehicles which are no longer needed for public use and in very poor condition. Authorization to purchase 1 John Deere wheel loader from Jesco Incorporated through Sourcewell contract in an amount not to exceed $368,554. Authorization to purchase 95-gallon automated refuse cans from IPL North America through HGAC by contract in an amount not to exceed $46,258.05. Authorization for the Board of Education to use the portable stage for their graduation ceremonies from June 15th to June 20th. Request received from the residents of Corey Street between Donna and Such Street to hold a block party on July 1st from 2 p.m. to 11 p.m. Authorization to amend Chapter 27 of the revised general ordinances. Application for a special event received from the Majlis Sadar Community Center to hold a prayer service on June 29th at Kennedy Park from 7:30 to 2 p.m. Authorization to award a non-fair and open contract to Motion AI for the installation of a VFD drive at the water treatment plant in an amount not to exceed $19,500. Authorization to award contracts for water department chemicals. Bids are being received on June 13th.
Okay, it turns over now to Glenn Skorzinski. Go ahead.
My apologies for the length of my agenda. Working with our personnel director, Rebecca Grabowski, we are attempting to regularize about 15 of our employees who have been in acting positions, and we want to make the moves in order to get them into their proper titles under civil service. Authorization to promote Jennifer Betzler from Clerk 1 part-time to Keyboarding Clerk 1 full-time in the Office on Aging effective June 1st, 2023. Authorization to promote Jessica Solito to Clerk 4 in the Water and Sewer Department retroactive to May 16th, 2023. Authorization to promote Mark Dobashevsky to Sewer Repairer 1 in the Water and Sewer Department retroactive to May 16th, 2023. Authorization to promote John Dragata, Joshua Mishevitz, and Colby Redfield to Sewer Repairer 2 in the Water and Sewer Department retroactive to May 16th, 2023. Authorization to promote Robert Caramella, Edward Kern, and Michael Klossick to Water Repairer 1 in the Water and Sewer Department, retroactive to May 16th, 2023. Authorization to promote Kenny Huff and Derek Kopek to Water Repairer 2 in the Water and Sewer Department, retroactive to May 16th, 2023. Authorization to promote Michael Gervasio and Jeffrey Downs to Senior Water Treatment Plant Operator licensed in the Water and Sewer Department, retroactive to May 16th, 2023. Authorization to promote John Imundo to Senior Water Treatment Plant Repairer in the Water and Sewer Department, retroactive to May 16th, 2023. Authorization to promote Paul Conlon and Aaron Smith to Laborer 2 in the Water and Sewer Department, retroactive to May 16th, 2023. Authorization to amend the AFSCME salary guide to add the titles of Senior Pumping Station Operator and Senior Pump Station Attendant in the Water and Sewer Department. Will require an ordinance for that or an ordinance amendment. Authorization to amend the management salary guide to include assistant tax collector and adjust the salary range for deputy tax assessor. Also ordinance amendment required for that. Authorization to amend the SAM's salary guide to add the title of assistant supervisor, water and sewer in the water and sewer department and adjust the salary range for the fire official will require an ordinance amendment for that as well. Authorization to appoint Daniel Celedonio to full-time building inspector, HHS, in the construction office effective June 16th, 2023. Authorization to engage the firm of Sitta, Hazepfel and Zabarski of Toms River to perform a personnel investigation in an amount not to exceed $2,500. And lastly, authorization to promote Fallon Hartman as senior cashier in the tax collector's department retroactive to May 16th, 2023.
All right, thank you. Thank you for that. We're going to go over to our CFO, Denise Biancamano, please.
Authorization to refund escrow to New Singular Wireless in the amount of $760.25. Thank you.
Wonderful. Borough Engineer.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Two items. The Dunkin' Donuts that just opened up in the Sarebrook Shopping Center, when they got their CO, they had to post a bond for incomplete work. That work's been completed, so we're recommending that bond be released. You need a resolution to do that. And the second item, we were authorized this evening to prepare grant applications for DOT trust funds. Those grant applications are due July 1st. You need to have resolutions when you submit them. So at your next meeting in June, we'll talk to Public Works Committee, decide what roads we're going to submit for, and we'll have resolutions on for that June meeting so we could submit for July. That's all I have. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Borough Attorney, anything, Sean? I'm sorry, Sal.
That's all right, Mayor. Nothing. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Executive session at this point. We didn't discuss going into exec just to deal with that Cablevision, with that Optimum situation. But before we do that, we'll just jump and see if there's anybody left from the public that has anything to add. Go ahead, Alexa.
Do I need to repeat my name and address for this meeting?
Yes. Do you have it?
Alexa Harris, 47 East Cup Street. I have a few questions. One is for Mr. J. Cornell, the NJ Transportation Trust Fund. Is this only for road improvements?
There's three different types of grant. One is for sidewalks, one is for bikeways, the other is for road improvements.
Thank you. Okay. Because some parts of the town don't have sidewalks even, let alone bike lanes. My other questions go on to page 1 for general discussion, item number 1. Could you repeat what an RFP is?
Request for proposal.
Gotcha. And can the mayor and council require or control this meeting place for Sarah? No? Okay. And I also wanted to know, is there an urban planner attending these meetings?
Which meetings? Our meetings or?
No, well, I know that
Well, the
like,
redevelopment
planner
agency? I don't
Yes.
know. You can ask the members on the council.
Is the chairman for the board still online? Or can anyone respond to that question? Yeah, wasn't he online before? Oh, okay, maybe I'm confusing it. But does anyone have a response to anyone else? Okay, I highly suggest and recommend for the council or Sarah to recommend, or mayor and council to recommend that to Sarah. Then my question is for item number 4 under general discussion, or actually, I'm sorry, 3B first. Is the bike wash, is this for motorbikes or bicycles?
Leave motorcycles.
Okay. And then item number 4, is there a spreadsheet available for the public to look at for this $18,000 sum? Could that be made available?
I don't, there's a quote. We could probably provide you with a copy of the quote. I don't think there's no reason why we can't.
Okay, that would be appreciated. I do want to advocate to make the meetings accessible as possible. I do agree with the opinion of some who have spoken before me that Sarah should be the top priority. I also am concerned that they use this as leverage and just move to another space. But I am on a board, but I also like can't physically attend other board meetings, including Sarah. And just accessibility is a huge concern here for myself and many others who have spoken before in the past. And then besides that, I also wanted to know if this is approved, what is the timeline for the equipment to be installed?
I don't have that information.
Okay, got it. Okay. I think that's really it, but I really hope that Sarah chooses to make their meetings as accessible as possible. Yeah, and for transparency's sake. I think that's really all I had. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else from the public? Anybody coming up?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Duffy's on his
Mr.
way.
Duffy. Can you see him now?
Hi, Mr. Duffy.
How are you? I'm not afraid to give my name and address. Bob Duffy, 111 Merritt Avenue. About the Sarah and the $17,000. Yous are all grown-ups here. You spend your money wisely. I don't understand why the board, as they are grown-ups also, and they're supposed to be here trying to save money for the township. I know $17,000 or $20,000 is not a lot of money in our budget, but every little bit we can save can go to another project. So I don't know why you can't talk to someone in that board and convince them, come in this room. I can't understand why they're grown people with a lot of responsibility and they won't come into this room. There's something wrong there and it needs to be questioned. The other thing I would ask is, what I saw here tonight was a zoo. I commend you all sitting there to take it. But the people of Sayreville don't act like that. And Mayor, if they're gonna protect you, you better get more. Because I wouldn't want them watching my dog.
No.
And to do what they did to the ex-chief is embarrassing. I'm sorry to say I was here to see that. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those comments, Mr. Duffy. Anybody else from the public? I see none online, so anybody in person? Yes or no?
No, I'm sorry, ma'am.
Oh, thank you very much. All right, at this point, we can't close our meeting because we are going to have to go into executive at this point, so
I'd like to make a motion to close the public portion.
Second.
okay. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, any opposed? All right, at this point, Jessica, Rezo, to go into the close.
Whereas Section 8 of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975 permits the exclusion of the public from a meeting in certain circumstances. And whereas this public body is of the opinion that such circumstances presently exist, now therefore it be resolved by the Mayor and Borough Council, the Borough of Sayreville, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey as follows. The public portion of this meeting is hereby adjourned in order that the governing body may meet in closed private session for approximately 15 and 20 minutes to discuss the following matters: contract negotiations. Following the conclusion of said closed session, the governing body shall reconvene the open portion of this public meeting to consider any other matters which may be properly brought before it at this time. The nature and content of the discussion which occurs in closed session shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Make a motion that the resolution be passed by roll call vote.
I need a second.
Councilpersons Novak,
Yes.
Falca, Conti, Anoha,
Yes.
Roberts, Zabrowski.
It wasn't as late as I thought it was gonna be.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll just go into close hopefully for just a couple of minutes and then we'll reconvene to close out our meeting. All right. Glenn, I'll call you again, or when you get inside, Glenn, if you would give me a ring again so I'm a part of the meeting. Thank you.
Well, you once we get settled in there.
Reconvene. All in favor?
Aye. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, come on.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, go in peace.